both STABBI and xertioN. STABBI.
Hey, we're all doing it.
I was gonna say
we're all doing it, man. We're all doing it.
I was gonna say it. Yeah, stavn and jabbi both are really good.
Best esports odds, VIP program, and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't know which one's my camera, maybe this one right here. Welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. The first live HLTV Confirmed from Copenhagen for the first CS2 major. Thank you very much. Appreciate that a lot. Now, tonight, we've already had a bit of a chat, the audience and us up here, but this is our biggest live show ever. So the fact that you guys have shown up for this and you're part of this, we just keep growing. Prof's the man in charge of making all this magic happen. And his role's kind of changed over the years. Prof, you used to write articles and do stuff like that, and now you're organizing live events.
Yeah, now I'm just being spotted at events, and people just ask, what the fuck do you actually do? And I can't really explain it. It's a lot of things. Sometimes it's pulling cables, sometimes it's being pretty, and everything in between, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're feeling big on yourself, huh? So, you know, right?
Someone has to.
Well, there was no makeup. Maybe that's next time.
I saw Chev over here. I think he's hiding. He needs to come in the front row.
Well, we got Chev and Jay.
He's in the VIP sitting.
Yeah, we should get Chev and Jay up in the VIP. I don't know how much seating we got for. We don't want to sit one of them right behind a camera. Traditionally, these two gentlemen right here have just walked in the room. Chev's one of the best observers in the world, no doubt about it. So, yeah, no joke. Like, when you guys are watching, they take up 80% of the broadcast of what we want to see. And this guy right here, if he's telling the story, it makes my job as a commentator that much better, and our experience as a viewer really good. And Jay's his right-hand man. He does the context cams out there. We're like, is there a kit? And Jay shows the kit. So without the two of them, right, that's a nice little combo we got there. But I got to thank the sponsors. We got to Trade It. They're here in the front. So they wanted the best seats in the house, but they're one of the sponsors. If you guys want any skins, check it out. The marketplace, head over to tradeit.gg. They're right up close and personal, so I have to watch them.
Yeah, we could get some applause for them. We could.
They sponsor the show, guys.
Maybe.
You know? They're paying the bills. But look, tonight we've got a bunch of guests. Harry and Hugo in the front. We've already been over that, but this is more for the people at home. Be keeping my eye on Twitch chat and see who's abusing me. Is anybody banned from the HLTV forums at the moment? Couple of people. I got banned today. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah.
But I asked for an explanation, but I didn't get
I was abusing myself.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see it get...
I mean, self is also a form of harm.
Yeah, it's all right. Maybe it's a good thing. I needed to get off the forums. Striker,
That's like the second time, by the way, that
I've been banned? Yeah.
And also for some bad words.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of part and parcel. Now, Striker, you've only just joined us the other day. Prof's been here for the better part of a week and a half. Yeah. You're here for the final. Are you doing anything special, or are you just here to be part of the experience?
I have the luxury of not having to actually cover the event, but yeah, I'm just here to help out with whatever I can after we have the show.
Just stressing out all of your employees.
That's pretty much my job. Yeah,
overseeing business here. Yeah, okay. Now, has everybody been enjoying the major? Because other than the Jame incident, I'd say it's been going pretty damn well. Come on, that's a bit mild. We're about to all watch the first CS2 major in the Royal Arena across the road in a couple days. It's been great Counter-Strike. We've got an awesome playoff bracket. This is the best playoff bracket we have had maybe ever.
I
would
have
say.
something on that, by the way, because I wanted to write,
Statistics?
I wanted to write something about it, but I just didn't have the time because I only came in yesterday. But I actually was looking through our ranking and the teams that made it to the playoffs for past majors. We only had the ranking from 2015, so we only have data from Cluj. And before that, I mean, we didn't have such a competitive scene that it would be so hard to have like all the best teams in the playoffs. But this is the best ranked teams that we've ever had in the playoffs since Cluj. Cluj and Katowice are the two events that came very close. I think Cluj had, instead of the number 15 team, they had instead of number 13 team, they had number 15.
Okay.
Everything else the same. So it would have been like 7 of the top 10 teams, plus 1 just outside of that.
Okay.
And Katowice was somewhere along that. But this is literally, like ranking-wise, this is the best playoffs bracket we've had since Cluj 2015.
And our discussion before landed pretty well. Where do we power rank Eternal Fire boys?
6,
Zero
right?
sponge, 0 CS knowledge.
Well, you guys are a bit disappointed you didn't get included in that conversation.
I mean, I was pushing that for that from the start.
Same,
You just like
yeah.
you just joined my
I
train.
jumped on the bandwagon there at the end.
Bandwagoner,
Yeah.
and then zero respect for me. But that's how it is, I guess. It's like always all about Chad.
We're gonna talk a bit about the playoff bracket at the end. Once we get Pimp here, we'll do the pick'ems and stuff and break it down. But do you guys have a favorite?
As in who we think is going to win?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of course.
Spirit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Of course.
What does the crowd think?
MOUZ?
I'm hearing Ent.
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
I'm
I'm
definitely
surprised
not
you didn't
seeing
hit
Ent.
Copenhagen Flames. Yeah. All right, so as I mentioned tonight, we're going to be pretty rapid. So what we're going to be doing is bringing up a bunch of different guests, and that means I have to kick somebody off the couch to bring up 2 lovely faces. So Striker has said he'll wave goodbye for now. We'll keep Prof, and then we'll bring Striker back on a little bit later. So we're going to bring up Harry and Hugo now. We're going to get into a bit of conversation, a bit of quiz, a bit of giveaway, all that good stuff. Goodbye, Striker. Harry, Hugo, come on up. Give Harry and Hugo a round of applause. All right, there's one of them. Hello, Mr. Hugo, Mr. Harry. Now, look, these 2 gentlemen right here are a bubbly bunch of fun. 2 very good friends.
I've been told.
Who, when they cast, you definitely feel that vibe that it's just 2 lads loving a bit of Counter-Strike. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, man, that's really all I have to say on that. Yeah,
Yep.
he is my mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've hung out once or twice.
Once or twice?
No, thank you.
Thanks,
champ.
guys. I
Such a
wanted to
lovely
bring some good energy and stuff.
You know,
like
Harry's really nervous today. This is like the biggest crowd
I
he's
don't
seen
know
all
why.
year.
This is like so intimate. You know, like when we're
we're doing
on,
a TED Talk.
Yeah, I know. That's what it feels like actually. As I was coming up, I've been watching a lot of TED Talks.
Oh,
lately.
on what?
Weird stuff, mate. Largely just
You
weird
want to share
stuff.
with the class? Or?
No. Largely on like storytelling and whatnot.
Okay.
Because that's a big part of what we
Yeah,
do,
of course.
right? So yeah, you know. And this was very much the vibe. It is like a big TED Talk in here.
Okay.
So what are you presenting today, Harry?
Well, I thought we'd get started early on
Yeah,
Pro League.
right.
We've already got buzzers out.
I noticed the fucking wheels
Yeah,
back,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I hated that. Me and Trace
this the
broke it in
forfeit wheel?
half. We hid
No-
it. We
no
hid it
forfeits.
around the
No
studio.
forfeits.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did well for us. You saved everybody.
I got rid of that whole segment.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit much. The whole camp theme, we won't even get started on that. That's a topic for another day. But gentlemen, we brought you up here this evening, and I want to kind of do a bit of major rehashing with the 2 of you so far.
Okay.
So what has, for the 2 of you, right, casting together, do you have a highlight match so far of the tournament that stuck out?
There is one that comes to mind.
There was this little VP game. I don't know if everyone caught that. It was really good. That
Until it
was such
wasn't.
a good game.
Yeah.
And then somewhere round about round 23, if I had to try and pinpoint a moment, that was where it arguably went downhill just a tad.
And I saw you jumped on the landmine. I was watching it back today because Harry's like play-by-playing into the moment, and then you go, oh, and then James stuck there with a knife in his hand.
I did jump in.
Yeah,
Get down, Mr.
yeah.
President.
Yeah,
I took the bullet.
You did. Someone
did.
had to.
Yeah.
He did.
And what do you do in that moment?
I don't know what happened because he actually I was in game and I noticed he stopped moving and
And
he had his
pulled his
knife
knife
out
out, yeah.
behind quad and he was safe. And then a second later he's wide. It's like he actually would have, you know, they were saying they were saving G2 in the interview. Like they would have won the round if he stayed behind the box, but he went out open, died in the open, GG. Eliminated, dead now, of course.
Yeah, and that was a bit disappointing. Now, obviously, there's a bit of controversy around that because people are like, why can't you replay
Just a tad, right?
Yeah. But we know.
I can tell you, actually, in response to that, saying divine intervention, as it turns out, wasn't the players. Everyone let me know all over Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see
yeah.
that.
They didn't.
People weren't a fan. No, well, some people were. Yeah. Others really. You either really loved it or you hated it. It was kind of the Marmite call of Counter-Strike. That one.
Would you go back and change it now, or you
no,
stick to
not
your
at all.
guns, yeah?
Not at all. I would stick to my
part
guns.
of the storytelling.
Also, it just was divine intervention.
But honestly, it feels like that. Like,
yeah.
If G2 goes on to do anything in this tournament, it's like it all goes back to that moment.
If they win the major, I'm going to feel like
I'm not going to say it.
genius.
It's a bit too much, but realistically, it would be kind of sick.
Now, as a bad host, which I acknowledge that I am more often than not, I've kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
Okay.
So before we get into talking about the major, that's why the wheel's here.
Oh, the bloody wheel! All right.
The game show's already. Chad.
No. Let's see if I can manage this. Hold up.
While he's doing this, I just want to add like one fun fact that most people probably know, but this is literally where the major group stage was played.
Yeah.
Like from here.
Literally this room.
In this room, yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 more like ballrooms like this that connect into a big thing, and more or less, I don't know where the end of the crowd is where Jame was sitting.
So that's kind of a cursed area.
That's a cursed area over there.
Watch
so
your phones; they might stop working.
Well, wasn't there
Actually,
like a
the geomagnetic storm has passed, right?
So I don't know if I'm putting it
the
down
bit
to...
flip should be dodged, you know. I think we might be fine.
Aliens eliminated VP, actually, I heard. That was the rumor.
Why don't we get the Enders on the show?
We can get Hugo to talk about
I think it was the pyramids.
Go on.
It was the pyramids, Chad.
We love a bit of conspiracy theory, but something that we don't love is middle of the pack roster changes. So
here's a bunch of them.
Exactly. And because we really don't want to talk about any of them, we want to keep it a bit more major focused. We've got this lovely wheel here we're going to spin, and we'll see how you guys feel about it, and maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't. So Hugo, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah.
Spin
Does
the
it
wheel.
require a hearty spin?
Get up there.
First, you have to read who
Any
we have.
direction?
Yeah, read who we got up there for everybody.
Okay, we got an Eyeballers, Legacy, Spin Again, not heard of them, MAT, Sprout, Nip, and that seems to be everyone.
Yeah, and a hearty spin towards
So there's
you.
no Rebels on here. Innocent to Rebels, that's kind of the latest roster change.
They didn't make it.
Okay.
They
You ready?
They didn't
I'm
make
ready.
the cut.
They didn't make the
That's
cut.
crazy.
I'm spinning it.
I didn't ask anyone we had any Polish Counter-Strike fans in the room. Look at that.
I feel like our thing is a bit
Wonky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's
still
just a
working.
long drawn-out spin.
No, but
Is this a bit? Does it never end?
It keeps the airtime up.
That would
way,
actually have been
it's
the best
3
bit.
hours.
What did we land on?
Do we have to?
We love talking about NIP here. Okay, spin again. That didn't get that one didn't like that one.
For the best.
Oh, why
I think.
such a big spin the second time around?
Sorry, yeah, I'm just...
What do you mean? Look, is this going to stop? And people can't hear you. You got to worry. You either yell to the room if you want to interact.
You're very low.
You got to project.
It's on spin again, Chad.
Well, spin again, Hugo. Get
You
a
can
little bit
fix
less.
the little
less,
Bobby
little bit
thing.
less, little
Yeah,
bit
right,
less.
There we go.
What do you mean like this? Fill this in.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
spin again, Chad.
Spin again. All right.
last
We'll be here
spin.
all fucking night, guys.
This is the last spin.
Eyeballers.
Eyeballers.
All right,
Could be worse.
more exciting Swedish Counter-Strike. All right, Golden joined Eyeballers. All right, done. Okay, we're done talking about shit roster changes. That was that was that segment. Great. All right, cool.
I love that. Thank you.
Now let's move on to something a little bit more interesting. Lucas,
That's awesome,
bring
man.
up the Vox Pop. I hope he's ready with it. We asked a question today, and it's quite a... What's
I
up?
think I paid nearly €100 for that. This is all we're using.
We'll use it again. We'll use it again. We'll give away some stuff. There's plenty of time, all right? Relax.
It's good. It's
And
good.
people laughed. We got a good joke out of
That
it.
is
was worth
all
it.
it's worth.
Yeah, you got
That's
your
fine.
entertainment value.
I just thought it was very funny.
And like, Martin's probably paying for it anyway. Now, with the Vox Pop question that we've brought this week, do you guys see the documentary that Falcons put out?
Yeah.
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, no.
You want to recap it, or you?
Do we have the clips here? Or?
I wish we did. We could have actually played the whole thing. Did you guys see the Falcons clip?
Before or after they re-released it?
I'm glad that, look, they should have
At least own it.
Put more in there. That's the thing. I don't think they put enough. Now,
They
the
should have
question...
done the unedited, like full footage of that entire, like an hour-long,
Yeah,
uncut edition.
Once I actually heard, once I got in the shuttle, the bus driver turned around and started giving us so much shit. It never ended.
Everyone, yeah.
Everyone had to go.
Now, the question was about the treatment of Boros. Now, was anybody... I forgot what we put down as the I was the one who came up with them, so it's not a great idea that I forgot what I had.
4 different things.
Yeah, 4 different options.
Here we go.
Let's find them. We got them on the screen. All right, uncalled for. Who thought it was uncalled for? Wow, a couple of people. No, a few hands. All right. Well, we've already... Lucas, bring it up, mate. We may as well bring it up right now. We've already got it on screen. Oh, he's lost his 2 IC. He's meant to have someone assist him. We had was it over the top? Do you think it was too much? Okay. Harsh but fair?
Resounding sentence.
All right. Well, that seems to agree. And not really. People think they should have been harsher. A couple of people thought they should have been harsher. Okay.
What else is there to do other than chew him out at the end of the game?
Well, this is the thing, right? So it got pretty overblown. I saw there was like Zero, former professional, was making some comments about it. I saw Duncan got stuck in. He did a whole video about it. I'm more on Duncan's side of the fence.
What was his take?
His take is people are soft. Now, I'm quite paraphrasing right there, but
sure.
This is the thing. We received an insight into a team having a conversation for a clip that was only a few minutes long, right? And we're talking about a competitive environment where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of people getting paid money to be professionals. And I'll tell you one thing, and I don't want to just like pile on this guy, but we all have heard stories from ex-teammates of Boros when he was in Monty. We've heard from Ozstriker, the coach. Most people saying he's pretty immature and he's not very professional. Now, I think the worst thing of the video is the fact that it just looks like all the teammates are just shitting on him for the same thing. That's probably the worst thing of the video, right? Yeah. But I think the fact that they gave us a look at behind the scenes of things that go on and how they function, I think that's pretty good because we never really get to see that from anybody, right? We very rarely get that look and that peek. And what happens is when people come out and there's such negative press behind it, then people aren't going to be inclined to do it. Maybe they could have been more tactful about how they did it. Maybe they could have released more to give more context because there's definitely more context. We just receive a small clip. Look, I have it on pretty decent authority that this isn't the first time Boros has changed his mouse at the start of a competition. He'd done it before. He'd been told off for doing it before. He was late multiple times. I'm rocking in the lobby in Katowice and the whole team is sitting and waiting for Boros to arrive, right? And you've been given an opportunity to play with some of the best Counter-Strike players in the world, and you're just fucking flushing it down the toilet, mate. Like, for me, when I saw that, and I'm going, okay, yeah, this isn't great the way this looks, but you're meant to be on your best behavior as that type of a player in that team. So I don't know. I know a lot of people thought that he had a target on his back from the beginning, which is probably also partly true.
But you kind of have to prove yourself, right?
Exactly. And then if he actually turned heads and showed people some good form and he was there on time, then it's harder to want to get rid of him, right?
I mean, obviously, I don't think the org wanted to get rid of him. Like, he is the best player from the region, so it's an extra factor to keep him there, right? I think it's also kind of funny when we were watching the Red Bull documentary last night, and there was the whole bit about, like, Zonic giving dupreeh the warning before the E-League major, and then dupreeh, like, coming through and winning the major and all of this stuff. And then just comparing that same Zonic giving a warning to Boros, completely different reaction. Like, literally nothing happened. And I can imagine, like, Zonic being like, okay, yeah, this worked in the past with these guys, with Zipex before as well. You know, every time you give someone a warning, they put get their shit together, at least for a small period of time. But obviously with Boros, that didn't really happen.
It felt like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like you said, he already had a target on his back. It felt like he was doomed to fail in that team. Like like you said, showing up late, if he's not putting in 100%, I'm not surprised that he was gone. I think he was probably already gone before they, obviously losing in the RMR doesn't help, but I think he was probably the fact that everyone was, I think that was the bit that people didn't like the most. It wasn't like if Zonic came in and kind of destroyed him for that, it would have been one thing, but the video maybe should have had a few cuts, like having 4 players back to back and the coach saying the same thing. It didn't feel like anyone was expanding on the point. So
to be honest, it's also like, is that a reason why you're losing a game? Like, someone changed the mouse, okay, but did he play bad?
They were saying he's whiffing, but
but there's more to losing a game than someone changing
definitely.
And he responded to give his side of it. He said like, I don't know who's telling the truth or whatever. He said, he swapped the mouse like 3 or 4 days before and he practiced with it and he played well and he showed up and he didn't play well on the day, but is that the mouse? I don't know who's to say.
Yeah, but okay, so from playing in teams before with people who would change mice in the middle of games, not professional games, but in practice or whatever, I'd have a teammate that would have multiple mice plugged in at once. And it's just one of these things that like...
Is that even possible?
Yeah, well, you've got enough USB ports.
Actually, I think thinking about it, the mouse thing isn't egregious. They were saying he was changing NVIDIA settings during a match. Now that is the definition of in your head. If you're changing NVIDIA settings.
But any of these little things, right? Like especially if it's during an official or so, like that's insane. But I've heard of players previously in teams who, like, when they're dead during practice, loading up the Steam like overlay, going onto like a mobile phone game and playing that while they're dead. Like I used to have teammates
That's
back.
fair.
Well, yeah, that's a great way to use your time.
yeah.
You know, instead of actually like dead coming for your teammates or watching how the rounds unfolding and you're doing something else in the like professional practice in modern day Counter-Strike.
I heard Kiyoshima was playing poker like during practices. So
well, that's a different time.
This was like 10 years ago. So
yeah, that's back in my day when
but
it
that's
was
why I'm saying it because
plumbers.
it's so far ago that no one really cares.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard.
But
this.
modern CS is a bit different.
Yeah.
So I think the whole Boros situation, I saw the community reaction, but the one that we got with our answer seems to be more in line with what I think, how I feel.
Chill, lads.
I think it was like looks harsh, but I think it's fair. Like you got to be told off in this space.
It's nice that you're having this conversation with two people who've never played at a professional level. But I will say, Chad, you said way worse things to us in pubs.
Yeah, if I'm playing bad and even like just a face-it game with you, man, you'll let me know.
I'll fucking give you a serve.
And you won't do it like, oh, darling, you really got to step it up. This isn't good enough. It's a lot harsher than that. And I think that, it's XONIC for crying out loud, man. Like the guy's like a living legend as coach, like the highest peak in Counter-Strike. Like if he's saying something here, sure, everyone else then says their piece, but I don't think you want like words left unsaid. If everyone else still feels a little sour, it's good to like clear the air. It might have sucked for Boros, but he was the one who made the mistake.
Now, I know this is going way back in the time machine. There's probably only one other person in the room who was even there, and that would be Richard. But I used to have teammates, Boomzer and Tegs, right? Big boys. And I had Booms at Tegs. I had Soldier Top Gun, right? And they were my teammates back in 2008 CGS days, right? Soldier was gone, but there were two pairs of brothers. A story before I started playing in that CGS team was there was one point in a practice where each pair of brothers had another brother pinned up against the wall and they're yelling at each other after a prac. Right? I've been in pracs where people are just going off the tree. We would do these like kumbaya, sit in a circle until everybody's crying, right? And then you'd go back the next day with everything out on the table and everything would be great and you'd play good CS. It's definitely much more professional and better than that today. But the type of shit that I've seen in teams, and this is like, you're talking 18 to 25-year-old adult males who have played video games trying to navigate the space of talking to one another, right? Like most of us can't even do that on the best of days. And you talk about in a high pressure environment of competition and you're trying to convey these quite delicate things. So I'm surprised that we haven't had, we see with the Na'Vi teams of old, or we see with, Henry's here too, he would have known the CG. I bet the London Mint boys doing exactly what I was just talking about. Yeah, 100%. But the people at home, Henry said they had fist fights. That doesn't surprise me at all. But just thinking you'd see like the Gambit guys or you'd see the Na'Vi guys and the way that they talk to each other. They were getting really stuck into each other. It's quite fiery. And that's the heat of competition. And I think that's something that, unless you've competed, it's a hard thing to try and understand. But I'm glad that Falcons gave us a look. I'm sad that they took it away. If you're going to put it out there, leave it out there.
Yeah, own it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope, because what I'm worried now is like it's going to rob us of this in the future.
Exactly.
Like, we're never going to get that same looking again.
Yeah.
Because now they got to think about like the optics of the situation.
Well, maybe it'll change. Who knows?
I hope it comes back.
Where do you sit on the roster now, though, Chad? dupreeh.
That's where we were going next. Great segue, Hugo.
Hey.
Oh,
look
Who's
at that.
hosting
I did my preparation.
Yeah.
Look at that. So the dupreeh situation.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Let's see what the room feels. How do we feel about dupreeh joining? People happy with dupreeh joining Falcons?
We're in Denmark. Chad.
I know. I still didn't
But there's
expect
not
that.
that many Danish people, actually. We did this
It was like
before.
50-50.
Yeah.
50-50?
I would say like 30 maybe percent.
You just the yells overwhelmed the hands up.
All right. Well, let's go there. Let's. Who's not happy with dupreeh joining Falcons? Okay.
There are people.
So a bit more of a milder jeer. I'm curious. So I guess the fact that XONIC being reunited with dupreeh and Magisk now, or dupreeh being reunited with Magisk and XONIC, I think when the big question of this flies around that I'm seeing, it's where's the firepower? Because you've got Madden, Sampayas, and Snappy in the mix with this. Where is the firepower? What do you guys think of that sentiment?
I mean, a part of me hopes that we're going to see dupreeh look good, right? Like,
he's the last major winner.
Yeah. I also think that like you've seen some high highs.
You can't argue with that, Prof.
Yeah, you can't factually
Argue with it.
I can't. I was
There
just
you
looking
go.
up
There you
the average player age for Falcons, 28.3.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, they're trying to set the narrative.
Boom it
Or
to.
it's the new retirement.
Chad, you might
Age is
get
just
in
a
there
number.
at this rate.
Well, Snappy's 33, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dupreeh's in his 30s, 31,
Yeah.
I think. It was just his birthday just the other day.
Who's the youngest? Sampayas?
Or Madden?
Yeah.
One of the two, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Madden, actually.
Wait, how old's Magisk? He could only be like 25, 26,
25,
right?
26, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I imagine those three are probably around the same age. Sampayas, Madden. Magisk. But the firepower question, which is where we just derailed you from, Harry, please.
No, I mean, you've seen like good levels out of Madden. It's just like finding the consistency on him. Like, maybe it could come from him. Magisk always feels like a rock, pretty safe bet in my mind to be like just a stable player. And then I'm hoping that some pious, like when he got picked up, dude, he
hasn't been good in CS2 though,
exactly.
Has he?
And so I want some pious firing on all cylinders, bro. Like.
I think it's like
when he moved over. Do you not remember like when he was back in Movistar, for example?
Yeah.
Just
how
much he would like carry that team to doing. That's why I kind of felt like they were done. Like when he left the squad, and then they weren't. So don't get me wrong, fantastic that they bounced back. But I don't know. I hope that some pious can get back to form in Counter-Strike.
All right.
It's not been the same.
Let's do it like this. Who thinks that Falcons can be a top 10 team in the world? Raise your hand.
Okay.
That is not a lot of hands.
There's no confidence.
There's some people.
Yeah, there's a few. There's
like
6
9.
people in a room of 240 people. That's the thing.
I like the name value. I like the brand value. I feel like that's a big factor. But once we hit once we hit 20,
it's what it's all about.
Not the brand. The players. You have legends in that team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once we hit 2025, we get rid of partner leagues and. Maybe this team would be great on a stage, but Chad, you've got to get to the stage. That's the hardest part.
Well, of course, and that's probably why people here don't have confidence in there being a top 10 team. Because we don't have any names in the roster unless some pious can be a carry AWPer, which at the moment in Counter-Strike, how many carry AWPers do we have? 1?
Couple, yeah.
Well, other than
Monacy,
yeah.
Right?
Well,
he's got lots of carry.
There are very good AWPers, right? Like you have a good list of AWPers. Like Shiro's a great AWPer. Torji's showing really good form. Like there's good AWPers, but I look at Monacy as like a carry AWPer. We don't really have as many of those in CS2 as we did in CSGO. So I don't know, for Falcons, I think the biggest issue is the firepower conversation. But this is where we can see, is Zonic, Magisk, and dupreeh, the core of that team and what they've done in the past, enough to be able to... Because, again, that was the core that with Vitality.
I mean, they're literally like banking on dupreeh being a star right now. Because that was...
So?
But that was the problem with Falcons. Like, the roles didn't really work. Like,
but they didn't even put BOROS in all of the star roles.
They didn't, because they wanted to use him as an anchor for whatever reason. Like, he did play some anchor roles before as well. And then also, he's not really experienced. Maybe his communication isn't the greatest. So you don't want to put him in, like, all the rotator roles. So you put, like, Madden, maybe Magisk, and it's like, this doesn't even make any sense. So they're literally putting dupreeh to be that rotator that they're missing, and that's, for me, kind of scary, honestly.
Plus, I hope that, like, if this builds a kind of solid foundation, like, when the comms aren't flowing, when the team just kind of feels a bit awkward all over, like, you don't actually really have anyone at their best, like, especially if one player is just kind of in his head a bit more and like a bit more uncomfortable, that kind of rubs off on everyone, right? So hopefully with like this really experienced kind of, getting the band back together of Zonic, Magisk, and dupreeh, if they can instill a bit of like a kind of, be the bedrock to like build the rest of the team around, then we might get a better idea of like what the other guys are capable of.
Lots of ifs, buts, and maybes.
Yeah, come on, man. Have they played a game yet?
I'm just saying, man.
What do you want me to go off?
What was that really good game for dupreeh, the Vertigo game? I think it was in the end elimination stage of Paris. Maybe it was a 2-2 game or something against Cloud9, I want to say.
It was Rio before.
Was it Rio?
It was Rio.
Going up a ramp, who's getting a lot of entry kills.
Yeah, that's the one. Was that Rio?
They won Rio and then went to win
flies.
Paris.
Okay.
My memory's terrible.
That's horrible.
But I said we had to keep it snappy tonight. We had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I have done anything but keep it snappy. So let's jump into
that was Rio.
The quiz. Should we do Skinionaire?
Please.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into Skinionaire, brought to you by TradeIt.gg, a lovely sponsor here in the front again. Give them a round of applause. They might give us more money. All right, there we go. All right, now tonight we're going to do it a little bit different. I've got 8 questions. I'm pitting the two of these gentlemen against one another. Harry versus Hugo. Hugo versus Harry. This might ruin the caster relationship that they have.
This is tactical, man.
I've done this.
We're starting tomorrow, the night before.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Right.
Now, what I want the two of you to do, you're going to be the champions for a person each in the audience.
Okay. I'm sorry for whoever gets me.
You get to pick.
Honest.
So who wants Hugo to try and win you the CSGO through the lens book? You get to pick, Hugo.
Oh, can it be from the VIP? Oh, no one's raising their hands. Okay. I'm looking for a familiar face.
Oh, wow.
I see a few.
He's stacking the deck here.
He is.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Lucas.
Let's go in there. Let's, I see him.
Okay, all right, Nia Kai. All right, well, look, you bit of Nepper, you keep it in the cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Harry.
This is crazy.
Who?
I can't name anyone else. I have to name someone I don't.
No,
know.
normally what I go is like blast shirt or
Copenhagen
hat or glasses.
There's an ESL shirt there in the back as well.
See, there we go. Perfect.
Cast a stick with casting Chad. You just stop pitting us against each other, okay? I'm bridging the gap.
Anyway,
This is
Harry,
still getting derailed.
pick your individual.
Oh, there's so many to choose from. God, this is actually quite a few hands, isn't it?
Yeah, now you're under pressure. You have to pick one person.
I'll go heroic jersey right there down at the front. Let's go.
A man of the people.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Now, what we got on offer is the Through the Lens photo book, which I
Wait, Neo, have you already bought one online? Likely. Okay, yeah,
all
sure.
right, you happy with that?
Yeah, just making sure. He doesn't need two.
Fake fan. Should have already
Yeah,
had
actually,
one.
that's true. I didn't answer.
Why'd you check you?
Caught him out.
Yeah.
Just quickly for the people at home in Twitch chat, type Trader in chat right now to enter the raffle. We'll be giving away the $50 voucher regardless of what happens here between the two of you.
Okay.
So that's for the people at home, not for you guys. Now, we have 8 questions. Whoever gets the most right out of the 8 will be the winner. If it's a tie, we have 2 books.
Ooh. So, Harry, we could rig it right now and set everyone up for a big win.
This is like the Valve offer Steam Deck situation all over
That is
again.
true.
Yeah,
But we
right.
did draw that game, if I recall. Didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No.
No? Okay.
I think
you
one
won.
team won.
We won.
You won by
Yeah, I
one
knew
round.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you playing with the buzzers or how?
We can play with the buzzers, yeah. Okay, so now we've
Minus
done
1 point.
we've done plenty of quizzes, right? So do you want me to? It's multiple choice. Now, if you buzz in before I get through the options, you have to answer without seeing the options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's
And
a good
then
one.
if you are incorrect,
Oh, I like
it
that.
passes
Why
on
didn't we
to
do
the
that at Pro League?
Because other people were jumping in. That's why we had a camp theme. You remember, Hugo?
I remember.
All right, Lucas, you ready to begin? All right, who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by Trader.gg. Let's get started. Question number 1. Highest rated player of the opening stage. Who was first, Prof?
Hugo
That
was
was
first.
Hugo.
Biggest error.
That is correct.
So sad, man.
Now, the problem is the deck is kind of stacked because I know Hugo's normally pretty good at the quizzes. So,
I am
Harry,
a bit of
Yeah,
quiz
it's
master.
fine. It's
You're
fine.
gonna have to-
Wait,
When
sorry,
we get to
Chad.
the general knowledge, that's when I'm going to come in.
you're going to have to dig really deep.
Yeah.
All right?
This is fine.
I need you to dig deep here.
I'm
How do we
trying my
draw?
best.
How many points each for a draw?
Well, there's 8 questions. So,
So it's
before
4
each,
each.
four
Okay,
each.
so
Are you going to sandbag?
no, definitely not.
Wow. Okay. Question number 2. Most played map of the major. Hugo?
I'm gonna go with Nuke.
That's correct.
Okay,
19
best
times.
map in the pool.
19 times for Nuke, 18 for Overpass, and Vertigo at 15, tied with Ancient. So
All in the head.
Anubis down the very bottom. There'll be a good one coming for you soon, Harry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Just get your hand on that buzzer, mate. Just get your hand on that buzzer. Question number 3. Harry turned 26 during the major on which day?
I don't actually know. Who
I
passed. You can
actually
have it.
don't know.
You don't know which day you turned 26 on?
No, I'm going to say Sunday.
That's correct.
Yeah!
Happy birthday.
Now, I did put that question in there so you get at least one right.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. I nearly got it wrong. I nearly said Friday. So
Yeah, well,
good thing I
would've been
thought
off by
about that for a second.
2 days.
Yeah.
How's it feel being now past the half? Well, not even the half. 20.
No.
Yeah, 26.
Just pretty, kind of the same as 25,
Yeah,
if I'm
and
honest.
it's all the same from here on
Yeah, and
out.
it's been the same for the last few years.
Okay.
I always take 1 year off because of COVID.
Just one.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be egregious with it.
Fair enough.
Already eliminating 1 whole year from my life,
All right. You didn't enjoy the time we spent together in the house.
No, I did. Those were my formative years, man. That was where I grew up.
All right, let's get into question number 4. Ents only won 1 matchup during their run versus who? Koi, Furia, or Pain?
They're cheating though. They're cheating.
Yeah,
well, that's fine. It's fine.
They're right there.
That was
They're
so
right there.
insane.
Just don't look.
You know, it's like screen watching. Like, there's 2 screens. How am I not going to look?
Just look out there.
He's doing a Senya. That's another reference. Not too
Don't
many
worry,
people are
I can
gonna
give it
get.
to Harry. I don't actually know. I'm going to go with Furia.
All right, he's incorrect. Harry?
I'm going to say Koi.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they were the
Because
worst
everyone
team.
beat
Yeah, true.
Koi.
Koi.
Yeah! Another free one.
Yeah. What is it? 2-2. It's all
2-2.
tied up.
Okay.
All right, we're locked horns here. All right, question number 5. What weapon did Jame have when he crashed?
AWP.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. That's really sad. Imagine being new box with an AWP in a 4v4. And
Anyone
crashing.
saying they weren't going to 13-11 that game if they won that round?
Yeah. And Jame probably gets a kill as well while they're trying to save.
Or he hides.
Anyway, we won't speculate. It'll just make things worse.
True.
Question number 6.
Yeah, I'm not looking.
How many Danes in the playoffs? None, 1, or...
None, 1, or I'll go with 2.
Correct. All right.
So
Well,
4-2, right?
Yeah.
You can
Don't
only,
worry. I'm going to try my hardest for these next couple.
You've got the draw all lined up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is overtime or bust.
Okay.
All right. Question number 7. Which team bottled a 2-0 record in the elimination stage?
Oh, you can have it, Harry. It was the same time. You can have it.
Man. Thank
Wait,
you.
or do you want me to thin one down first?
No. Cole.
It was Cole.
Oh,
there it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
4-3.
It was a rough draw for them. They lost to MOUZ, Vitality, and then FaZe.
Yeah, it got really rough.
Yeah.
It was going so well.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of thinking, oh my God, NA's back.
Yeah.
Never back.
Didn't happen. All right, and the last question. Hugo needs this to win.
Yeah.
Who had the most AWP kills in the elimination stage? Wonderful Jame or Monacy?
Guardian.
Incorrect. Harry,
that's
your chance to steal and tie
That's a
things
shame.
up.
I'm going to say Moneshi.
Shine Monash.
Shine
It's correct.
Monashi.
Monash. And it's a tie.
Oh, what a shame.
Wow.
Great.
Good effort,
business with
man.
you.
Good
Yeah,
effort,
yeah.
man.
Look at that. Who would have thought? So
Can't separate us, Chad.
no, you can't. And
can
I
try.
tried to put a wedge between the two of you, put you on different couches.
So that's
You were
2
close
of the
with Guardian.
official HLTV Through the Lens books going out to our fine audience members.
They're already sold out. You don't need to upsell here.
The re-release coming? Re-release coming?
Maybe.
Okay,
Maybe. Sign up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Striker, do you want to hand these out for us? Could you do that for us, please? Okay. Thank you, Striker. We'll get them over there, and Striker can hand them out. Yeah, but that quiz, if you guys didn't, do your best pointing.
Wait, wave your hand, Mr. Heroic.
Look at that. He's like a sim. He's got a little arrow above his head. All right. And for those people who couldn't quite work it out, that was a major-themed quiz so far.
So far?
Yeah, right?
Are there more skins on the line for the people at home?
Well, there's someone... Oh, Lucas, who won? Gladius won. A round of applause for some random person in Twitch chat.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Let's go.
Nice.
That's what we do it for, Chad.
That's a $50 skin thanks to trader.gg. Bang. All right. Well, that's Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire. So now we can keep moving forward. Now, I just want to talk a little bit more about the major with these two gentlemen, right? And then we're going to bring Major in. Because,
he's right over there waiting for it.
Hello, Major. How you doing? We'll bring him up shortly. Okay, so we talked about the match you remember the most, casting-wise, being the Jame situation. Was there one that sticks out a little bit more so, or is that the one, like, because of the drama, you like the story, the spectacle?
Yeah, I mean, that one was sick, like, even just narratively, like G2 kind of coming back on that second map, like on Inferno, right? Like, Nico, I think he was 2-9, and then he got, like, 1-3K. And he smiled for the first time in the whole game, like the whole series.
Whole tournament.
Cracked a little smile, and I was like, hang on, something's happening
Actually,
here.
you know what's also a good game? I think maybe you'll agree with this. The Pain Heroic one. That was the 12-0 CT Mirage.
That was actually a banger.
Yeah, feels bad for Heroic because I feel like they definitely looked good enough in the rest of the tournament to be in the playoffs or to make a deeper run, but... it was nice watching Pain play so well. They played some good CS.
All the way up, till 12-0,
Apart from those 9 rounds.
And then they got so scared. I've never seen a team, like you're imagine back and go, you're 15-0 up on the half, but you lose the pistol and you go, oh my God, we're going to lose. That was like the first thought that team had. Yeah, They lose the pistol and everyone was like, we can't be the team that lost 12-0. And then they nearly were. That's the beauty of it.
The Heroic almost comeback. Prof, what did you enjoy watching the most?
Honestly, it's one of those questions that when you ask me, I'm just blank. I'm just completely blank. It's one of the worst questions. But I would say...
Thanks, Prof.
I would say Eternal Fire. Not just because Major is coming on. I really enjoyed in general watching them play. They played like real good Counter-Strike, proper Counter-Strike.
And they will continue to play really good Counter-Strike in the playoffs.
I'm betting on that.
Yes.
Not literally betting, just so you know.
Yeah, you don't get banned from majors.
Richard Lewis, don't write anything. Thank you.
The Mongols game, I thought was for elimination.
The Furia or
against Pain.
Pain, sorry.
Again, in the 0-2 matchup, where NQZ misses an absolute sitter in the one-on-one against the two diffusers back to back.
And then a 2v4 as well.
Yes, retake on the A side. That was pretty mental.
I think we were were we on the other stream during that?
Yeah,
that was the one where I could hear them.
Oh, we had
I could hear them like over the hall, just losing
you were doing
their
A
minds.
then, right?
And so I can just hear, Connor just.
Well, it was me and Alex cast now, but yeah.
Oh, it overran. Yeah. You guys finished like when we were done with our first map. I could just hear you and Alex then.
Yeah, we had
Alex
to
got a Canadian twang to him when he
goes
he
did.
crazy. Yeah. That's what that is.
He's been picking that one up for years. Okay, now I need to get the two of you out of here so we can keep things moving. But before I do, who do you have winning the major, Harry?
Spirit.
Okay. All right. You make Constantine quite happy over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Pandering. Is it just because of the donk factor?
Honestly, yeah, and also I think, you know, they did so well in Katowice, and it feels teed up for them, man.
Sure.
That team is peaking, and out of all the teams that came through the elimination stage, they played like just really solidly throughout. I know MOUZ also went 3-0, but like Spirit just impressed me across the board. Like that Na'Vi game, it felt like they were trying to shut Donk down and get in his head a bit. And it felt like they did for the first 2 maps, but it didn't even matter. Like everyone else was still so good. The level was like so high that even if you deal with Donk, it's like, well, now you have 4 other guys left to deal with, you know? Yeah. So
What about you, Hugo?
My
you gonna buck
answer
that
has
trend?
a caveat.
Oh, here we go.
I can give you, if I had to say one, I would give you Spirit, but I would say the only team I think that can beat them is MOUZ. But I also think that opening game, MOUZ G2 is scary. I think m0NESY could carry. Like, if MOUZ win first game, they can beat Spirit in a final.
Okay. All
But
right.
I don't think anyone else beats Spirit.
Yeah, I like that you've at least given us a couple of possibilities right there, because it does feel
It's open.
I think so too. I look at it, I think that there's 8 teams, and actually any of the 8 could win. There's some
that's
that
the
are
beauty when it's this stacked.
What-
It's
what
like
is it?
every quarterfinal could be a final in a different major.
Is it a top 6, a top 7 ranking teams, and then or top 6, then number 9 and number 13, I think, coming into
something
the
like that.
playoffs?
Yeah, it's pretty stacked.
Never had that.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us
Yeah.
this
Having
evening.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Give
you
a round of
all.
applause,
Thank
Harry
you,
Hugo.
everyone.
All right, we're going to get Striker back. I'll get him up here, and then let me say that for you, Harry. Thank you very much. Striker, come on, sit on down. And once Striker's situated, then we can give the man his introduction. Striker, how you feeling? Thank you for couriering the books. Okay. All right, well, our next guest is in the top 8 of a major. And his name is Major. So, Major, come join us. Eternal Fire, a bit of the conversation at the moment. So we've brought him up. Thank you very much for joining us. There you go, mate. Now, I just sat down with this man for an hour and a half the other day. So I might let the questions start with you two before I get stuck in again, because I have some more. I got plenty more.
That is fair.
But I heard that the watch parties you have sold out again.
Yeah, first of all, welcome everyone, and sorry for my English, first of all. I will do my best.
That. Your English is great.
So yeah, there is a watch party in Turkey. There will be, again, we're going to play Na'Vi, and there is 3 watch party incoming in 3 city, different city. One in Istanbul, one in Ankara, and one in Izmir. So I hope it's going to be great again.
How many people? It was like some crazy number, no?
Maybe 5K in total now with 3 city. I hope they say it's sold out, so I think it's going to be full everywhere.
That's like half the Royal Arena, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's pretty sick.
Turkish fans is really fanatic. They really love Counter-Strike extra, so yeah, very happy for that.
Yeah, they love it. You got any questions for him, lad?
I just wanted to say Thorn's not here, so he doesn't have to be worried about his language.
I love Terry.
Trying to kill him with kindness, I saw.
I respect it.
Honestly, that was one of the best responses to like a Thorin tweet from a pro player. It's so safe. Like there's nothing to actually be upset about.
Trying to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, have a good time. Sorry if I offended you. Move on, you know. It's pretty nice. Honestly, I think it's just your story is actually crazy. Like everything that you went through in your career. I think the latest year or 2 years, coming back from going to Valorant, coming back, then retiring again in CS, this whole like weird situation that happened in like Eternal Fire where you were like removed twice almost, right?
Yeah.
For you to be now here in the playoffs of a major, I think playoffs of a major are an achievement where it's not, sometimes it can be a fluke. I think with the current setup that we have, it's really hard to fluke and it just be like, oh, I'm in the playoffs of the major and I'm not the deserving team. So I just want to, first of all, congratulate you on this. I think it's fucking amazing.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
But can you break down a bit like what happened? How does this team come back together? Because like you were removed, Voxic was removed, and then somehow you're again like playing in what is the best Turkish team.
Yeah, like you said, there is a lot of down in these 2 years. Like I guess I was kicked, then I go to Valorant, then I come back, etc. But I think as a person individually, I never give up. Like I always believe in my heart that I can show, we can show a Turkish team again in the top, like we did in Space Soldier. But in Space Soldier, we missed an AVP player in this time. Like we didn't play with an AVP, so I knew inside of me when I was playing with Space Soldiers that we're gonna go somewhere, but we're gonna stop there because you can't really be a T1 team without an AVP. Like it's my opinion. But this time, like I don't know. I didn't give up. I work hard. There is a lot of done, like you said. I was kicked. I come back. But in the end, I'm very happy that we are here today and we play good Counter-Strike, because the most important things for me is playing good Counter-Strike. Like never, it doesn't matter you win or you lose, because you're gonna lose every time. It's part of the job. You lose and you win. You need to learn of that. But I'm very happy today that we did this top 8 of the major, and obviously I'm just watching step by step. Like obviously the goal is to win it, but step by step. I think there is, like you said, guys, there is 8 teams, 7 teams, very good teams. Everyone can win this major, so we will see. Like,
how did you? You said it yourself. Like Turkish people, very passionate.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole space order situation, that was you're playing without an AWP because Woxic didn't want to play with you guys for whatever reason. There was some bad blood, maybe XANTARES and him.
No, there is not bad blood. There is a lot of details, but I think. We didn't have the chance to meet. One time we have, but he preferred to play with, I think,
Hellraisers at the time, yeah.
But also from outside, there is a problem maybe with the boss of Space Soldiers. He didn't want extra, so yeah.
How did you bury the hat? Like, was there any hatchet to be buried now after you being kicked and brought you back in? Or was it just like business?
Like, I think it's just business. We're playing professional games, and now being kicked, I think it's part of the job. Just from my perspective, my point of view, they bring me like the first time when they bring me in Eternal Fire, like I have 3 months to prepare for the major and USL Pro League. Like everything was fast. And as a leader, like I have my playbook since a long time. I changed my playbook extra. So when I came, I didn't have times to put all my playbooks, etc., because it's important for a leader, from my perspective, to have a playbook with the player I have. It's like playing poker. Like I have 4 cards. Every player is different. So I need to make my playbooks with the players' qualities I have. That's important for me. And this time I understand that all the playbook I had, all the tactics, it was not very good with the players I had in this time with Eternal Fire. So I had to switch a little extra, so I didn't have a lot of times. And in 3 months, we did what we can do. Like I think we did the best I can in 3 months. And from their perspective, they say like the problem maybe was me, and that's the only things I say to them. I say like you only give me 3 months, maybe give me more, and it will be better. But all good. I didn't have any things inside of me because I came back, and my only goal is to make a Turkish team great again in esport, because Turkish esports never be really big in the industry, and it's something sad for me because we have a lot of fans, like you said, extras, so they were really patient. So my goal is for the future, for the coming players, for the people, I want to change the mind, because even me, when I play professionally, I go to my village in Turkey and they say, oh, you play video games, you stop playing video games, you need to work, man, you're a man, you need to work, you can't play video games. So what is important for me is to change this mind to people in Turkey, and I hope today we are in top 8 major, maybe I don't know what will happen, but the main goal is to change the mentality of we have in Turkey, and maybe for the future generation, they can be proud of that, to playing video games, because it's not something shameful to play video games and win this game. Like I prefer my son to play video games than going outside and doing some shit. Like so, so it's important to change the minds of people here. And my only goal is that, like, I try my best to do that. That's all.
So what changed? I mean, like you came back, was it like a month later after you got kicked? So it was super quick, right? What changed from that?
Yeah, I think Turkish people just took decision too much fast with emotion, with hurt. I think this is the only issue we have. Like we just took decision really fast. Yeah, they called me back because they changed the coach. Fabric come back, and Fabric called me. He said, like, I really like you. I never worked with you, but I would like working with you extra. So it was a big part of my joining back here. And then I accept for Turkish for myself also, because in this time, like I was in Valorant, I was really unhappy with Valorant, and I have still the fire inside of me after they kicked me in ESL Pro League, because we show also good result in ESL Pro League. So inside of me, I have the fire, and I wanted to accept. Don't have like you said in English, the ash inside of me. I didn't have this anger inside of me. I don't have also this in my life. So I did my best, and when I come back, I give everything I have. I'm still giving everything I have. Like.
You want to give us the secret to how to beat FaZe 13-1?
Starting CT on overpass, maybe? No, I don't know. Like, Yeah, I think it's only B1. I think FaZe is a really great team. So even if we win against them, we can't say we are better than them. I think it's only B1. And what is important is always playing against these teams, always, in every tournament, and just doing your best. But like, it's a great team.
I mean, you guys played 2 crazy games against them before that, right?
Close
Like one of them in
matches.
Katowice and one of them,
Katowice.
I don't remember, was the qualifier or something like that? I don't remember now.
RMRs,
A couple of
right?
series. I think
RMR
so, yeah.
and Katowice, yeah, we lost.
But they were close
we won
games.
one
Like
match.
overtimes or something, yeah.
Yeah, we win on the beast and lost Inferno in overtime. Then they beat us in Nuke, really out. So yeah, it was close. Like.
But do you like playing against a team like that are a bit more individualistic? Because obviously Carrigan's a very good caller and they have strats and stuff, but they seem like a team at the moment, like they're not in great form. Some of the heavy hitters aren't firing very well.
Yeah, no, I like to play this kind of teams, like playing slow extra. Like I like to play T1 instead of playing T2. T3 is really fast CS, really loose CS extra. So I prefer to play this kind of teams. But I think FaZe is a great team. They will come back stronger now in playoff, I believe. They're just starting slow and they're getting better and better.
Well, what do you make of that? Because one of the things that I'm looking at with the playoffs is I see the FaZe versus Spirit rematch, the Katowice Grand Final.
Yes.
And I sit there and I go, well, in Katowice, I set the bar of Spirit have to play against one of the best stage teams we have.
Yes.
Right? And then they just fucked them.
Yeah, like nowadays in CS, everything is possible. Like, look at us. We are top 8 in the major. We are outsider. Like, do you think like 3 months ago you can say like HLTV will be top 8 in the major playing playoff?
Well, maybe we
have the chance, but we are not the favorite, And I think
course, yeah.
the beauty in the game right now in CS is nowadays everything is possible. Like you said earlier, like we can maybe win the major. You thinking it's possible, and for me this is something really big. Like thinking that we can win a major, like it's oh my god, like So I think now, like I said, nowadays everything is possible. Every team can win, upset another one, and I think it's very good for competitivity.
You think it's a good thing that it's a bit more open?
Yeah, I think it's better, like because it's competitivity. Like I think it's really better. Yeah.
Well, we spoke about this the other day. Your match against Na'Vi actually seemed hard because of the veto.
Yes.
Right? They banned Vertigo,
yeah.
And you guys don't play Ancient, and their Ancient's pretty miserable.
Yes.
So that's a hard veto for you guys. You've had a bunch of days to sit there and look through it. I don't want to ask you to tell us what you're going to pick or anything, but do you think like more time to think about how the match is going to unfold is a good thing or a bad thing for your team?
I think it's a good thing. Like, I try my best to analyze them, obviously. Like you say, the veto is not advantageous because we have the best map we play, they ban it, and the ban of us is the worst map for them. So yeah, we'll do our best, but the time we have, I think it's a positive thing for us and for them also. And I hope it will be a great match and on the sand. So let's see. Yeah.
So let's say you had to predict the other side of the bracket, or I don't know how much you've worried about it, but you've got Vitality versus Cloud9. Cloud9 last time in the head-to-head beat Vitality. Then you've got FaZe versus Spirit, which you just said was the grand final.
leading the.
Sorry,
please.
my bad. Who do you think is going to win those matches?
I believe in Zayu. I think Vitality can win.
Is that the French in you
I'm
coming
a French
out?
also.
Yeah.
I'm French. Maybe Vitality, yeah.
Okay. And then FaZe versus Spirit?
It's going to be like a final, I think. Well,
if it's like Katowice, it won't be close then.
I don't know, maybe Spirit, I would say, maybe.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. And then Spirit versus Vitality?
Spirit.
So you face Eternal Fire versus Spirit in the grand final?
Hopefully.
Is that a team you've practiced against much?
No, we're trying to not play this kind of teams right now.
Okay.
So we try to escape all the team here in the playoffs. So no, we didn't play.
I saw like it was a translated interview, but it was like I don't know if it was in one of the Spirit vlogs or whatnot, but it was Hallie, and he was saying they practice like FaZe a lot in the lead up, and they're like undefeated against FaZe in practice.
Yeah, I think in practice, like. We're practicing also FaZe extra, but not in this tournament. But yeah, we win, we lose. Like in practice, it's really different than official, to be honest. Like, yeah.
Okay.
If they played Overpass, I think that's pretty likely.
Maybe they can do surprise in the veto. I think FaZe is going to be a surprise in the veto. They're going to pick something really special.
Do you think
opinion.
You think they're going to have Vertigo come through?
Yeah, I think they're going to pick Vertigo. I think, yeah. But I'm not sure.
But
this is only my opinion. Like, I don't want to say anything.
But that's an interesting conversation, right? Because it wouldn't be the first time we've seen FaZe pick Vertigo in a matchup, but they're going to do it against a team who aren't bad on Vertigo. People just think it's a weakness.
But it's their only weakness, right?
But is it even a weakness?
But sometimes weakness become strongest. Like
Yeah, exactly, because you're playing it all the time.
Yeah, you play all the time. Yeah.
Here's a question to Major.
Yes.
Was the Virtus Pro game how far would you rank it in terms of your best games of your life?
Oh,
This is my best match on my career. I think it was really important match for me, and individually, thanks God, I did well. So yeah, I think it's my best match individually. Yeah. For sure.
It seemed like everything was going well for you. Like those 2 flanks on Vertigo and like that you just got off like with the Deagle and then a couple of rounds later, like everything was going well.
Nothing is random in life. I think I spend a lot of time studying them. So my move in Vertigo, to be honest, like I knew exactly what they was doing. And Virtus Pro is a team that don't balance a lot their game, so they do regularly same things, etc.
You can read them well, you think?
What?
You can read them well?
In this day, I read them, but sometimes you can't read. But I studied a lot of them. Like I watch 5 Vertigo of them. Like I pick at Vertigo, but so I watch the morning. I watch like 4 demos or 5 demos of them on Vertigo, and I see some synchrons always the same, like what they did the 5A. I flanked from B because I knew exactly the smoke come from here. So yeah, it's just not random. Like I think. Everything you do in your life, it's tryharding. Like I tryhard for this match and it's pay off. And this is the things on life, in the same things. Like
I have just one question that I wanted to ask, and that is about XANTARES. And he's not a guy that like talks a lot, so I'm gonna ask you.
In interview,
Yeah.
You don't like.
But the way he plays now is actually he's playing smart CS now. And he's been like, for the longest time, like you just go on HLTV, top stats of all time, XANTARES is gonna be there. Maybe Donk is now like overtaking him in some categories, but for the longest time, he's been just fragging. But also when you watch his games, sometimes he would overpeak. He would do like classic fragger moves, you know. But now I see him, he's still very like sharp, but he plays smart.
Way
like
smarter.
He plays with a team, like he stays alive. Usually he would just like go for the second or the third kill and stuff like that. When did that change? What happened?
I think he's in this career after Space Soldiers. Yes, he goes to Big. I think he learned a lot from Big. I think, to be honest, because. When I came back and played with him, like you said, I feel that he was way more smarter. He played way more better, and also he's my second career right now. So sometimes when I'm die, I try to help my team leading when I'm died. But when I see that he has an ID, I just close my mouth and I let him do. But like you said, he play way smarter now. Yeah. I think he just step up in Big. I think.
Do you have any questions for
I forgot about our box of questions. And the first one I pulled out was actually a question for Eternal Fire, which actually works out quite nicely.
Great stuff.
So we had everybody, while they were waiting to come in, if they wanted, they could put a question in.
My teammate, you mean?
No, everybody here.
Okay, the question from the...
So this is one from the audience. They've asked the question, you guys, so Eternal Fire and Bad News Eagles, I think we know where this question came from, had a rivalry in Tier 2.
Yes.
And what was the difference in your team that could get to the playoffs where they failed the last few majors?
I don't know. Like, to be honest, we're working really hard. Like, even today, I just came here, but I did 7 tracks. So I just came. 7 tracks.
You did that on Monday as well?
Yeah, I finished my track and I came here. So I think the secret of our success here, to be honest, is just working. Like, we do a lot of theory, we work a lot. My teammates play a lot individually in FPL, etc. So there is no secret in life. Everything you do, you need to work on it. You need to give more than other to be successful. Like, it's just a key. And I think the secret we have, maybe they're working a lot and maybe they didn't do that. I don't know them. Maybe they work a lot. But I think we're working a lot and we have a potential individually also, and the Wikidia also is really a big potential. It's helped a lot for us. So maybe they're working, I would say.
Yeah.
For my opinion.
Here's my question. So I think you guys are probably the only team whose trajectory stayed the same from like the end of CSGO to CS2, because you were obviously on the way up. You ended the Pro League with that playoffs run, and then you go into CS2. You end the year with a couple of like the second place finishes at like some of the smaller tournaments, and the year changes. You really do well at Katowice. Like there was a really good chance for you guys to even go to the playoffs, and then you do this run, you know? Did it not come as a challenge for you guys to make the switch? Do you feel like it was still the same game? How do you think about that transition?
No, I say to my player that it's a chance that the new games, there will be a new meta with the nade opening the smokes, etc. And I say to them, guys, we have a chance now. if we work harder than other, and we find some keys, some details, if we work harder, maybe we can fix the gap between the T1 teams phase, etc. And I think, like I said, the last question, we're just working so hard, and I try to find some things in new games, some details, some new tactics, etc. And I think it's pay off in the end of the day, and that's all. Like, I think we just trying hard every time, and that's all.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Hard work. Does anybody here think Eternal Fire is going to win the major?
Yay!
Thank you.
All right, you got a couple of fans. You got a top look.
It's okay, man, but it's normal.
Yeah, but you
normal.
win them over. You've been winning over the internet already with the Eternal Fire story. I'd say
Thank you. Yeah,
it's a story of heart. At least that's the way I see it, right? You know, we're talking about in an era of international teams, and you're one of the national teams, and you've already made history with the team making the top 8. I'm curious, is Woxic okay? Because he was meant to come. Is he
he
all
was
right?
a little sick, so sorry for him.
No, that's all right. Just want to make sure he's fine.
Do we
because
have
we
to be
did-
concerned?
No, we did a lot of practice, so he was really tired, and maybe coming here in live extra, and with all he was tired and sick, so he preferred to
Understandable.
rest a little.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the 9 o'clock mark, so we're going to take about a 10-minute break right now. Is there anything you want to say to the fans? We're going to take our ad break, and then we'll get
Just
you out of here.
Keep staying, guys. It's all fun here, so
Yeah,
that's all.
Awesome. That's it.
That's it.
All right, Lucas. Let's go to an ad break, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much, Major.
Thank you.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.
All right, hello everybody. We'll take our time. It's all good. There's still lots of people outside getting drinks and stuff, so don't be in too much of a hurry. We'll take a couple more minutes. We'll give everybody a chance. It's not a big drama. Maybe we can read through some of the questions we got, Striker, while we get everybody back in the seats. Give it a bit more
we can do that.
back and forth. I just had,
some.
2 lads come up to me, and they wanted to see if we had any more paper, so I just wrote it down on my notebook.
Okay.
Maybe you can help me answer this one.
Okay.
They were asking the question about Monacy. They were asking if he can become the #1 player in the world in G2.
Like it's with the organization.
Yes, so as it is right now, can he become the best player in the world?
With the organization, yes. With this team, probably not.
He'd have to go like full hardcore simple carry mode. Yeah. That would be the only way.
And I mean, we have Donk at the moment,
Yes.
who's got the team on top of
So
that.
for
it's
right
kinda
now,
hard.
probably
Yeah.
not.
No.
It's going to be quite difficult.
Not right now.
Not right now.
No.
All right, what else we got here? There's a bunch of questions. This one's for Exertion. We'll save that for later. There's a question for Device in here as well, who we have coming up next. So, well, that's why we want to get everybody back in their seats and situated. What else have we got here? This is for you, me, and Prof.
Okay.
It's often mentioned that there is no clear favorite in CS landscape today, that there is no team that could have its own era right now. What will have to happen for a team to make an era? Is it even possible? This Liam G from the US of A. Thank you, Liam. I think that it is possible if Spirit win this major.
Yeah.
And
I
then
agree
go
with that.
on to win another top event. They're not at Pro League, which kind of hampers them a little bit, right? But if they...
Wait, they're not?
No.
How come?
I don't know. They didn't qualify.
Okay. I didn't actually. I wasn't looking.
It's kind of sad. But if they win the major and then they go on to win another event before the break, and then they go on to win something like Cologne, and then they go on to win the next major, then you can start having a conversation.
Yeah,
but that's a better part of a year.
Sure.
But that's a lot of winning. But
I was going to
that's
say,
what
like,
would have to
okay,
happen.
we're past their first win now. Like,
Yeah,
with
but
the year,
that's
so-
for he's used era.
Yeah, of course. I think, okay, so here's my thoughts on the era situation. I think people are too bogged down with like trying to determine what makes an era before it actually happens. Like
Yes.
we always look back at a period and consider that an era rather than forward. You know, and that's how I think like it's kind of impossible to tell like if we're gonna have an era, because it takes very special.
Yeah, but we could set, like I'm doing with Spirit right now.
Yeah.
We could set waypoints that would have to happen to make it like a dominant period.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
And I think the thing is, Astralis have kind of left this impossible.
Yeah, like standard
ceiling
to hold up
to
to.
grasp,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Right,
that's for sure true.
We're slowly getting everyone back in. Here's another one. Will the low amount of tournaments Team Liquid will participate in this year affect their time frame to improve?
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's already been a problem for them, right? Because I mean, now fortunately they got the Chengdu invites as like a replacement. So they are kind of fortunate enough to get an invite to get back up to speed. But like if that didn't happen, they wouldn't have played anything outside of the Americas RMR, where they don't play anybody like any of the top teams for. They didn't play Katowice, so basically never. Like they haven't with this lineup. Their first big tournament is going to be Chengdu.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they have Dallas, right? But that's still a while away.
I don't remember what they have after that, but I think so, yeah. Yeah, they qualified. They've qualified for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think that's the case. And I think the thing is, it's hard to really measure how good the team is until you're playing against the top teams on LAN. So that's a problem that they're having for sure. But it hasn't looked great.
Yeah, and considering they're struggling already against local teams, I mean, you could make an argument that maybe they're preparing more for like the World CS, that's like for the meta that's played more internationally rather than in Americas, and that's why they struggled. But like until we see them there, we can't really tell.
All right. How are we looking? Should we get the Astralis lads up here? Everyone happy with that? All right. What do you reckon? We got most people back?
Yeah.
This is the main event.
That looks like
this is where we're going to ask some.
Look, if not everybody's back, they're going to be back once they see that they're
they should be running back. All right. Let's get to it then, shall we? I don't want to keep them waiting for too long, ladies and gentlemen. Please show a warm welcome to Device, the new in-game leader of Astralis, and Casper, the sports director. That's the type of reception we're looking for, gentlemen. How you doing, man? Good to see you, good to see you. We'll shake hands again. Look at that. All right. Great to have the two of you joining us this evening. Some big talking points, I would say, for us to get into tonight, Mr.
Yes.
In-game leader.
Yes.
How
do I do this?
Yeah, you can put it. Look, if you want to make Red Eye happy, you put it behind you. If you don't care, keep it in front. Now, we may as well just get straight into the meat and potatoes of all of this, shouldn't we? Because there's a lot of questions to ask. When the news came out that you were going to in-game lead, me personally, I sit there and I think, is he going to do one of these situations where a star player, an electronic, someone like this, they take over the mantle of in-game leading, they regret it after a couple of months, they try and return to being a star player again, and then they're fucked. So, you got that little worry in your head at all?
No, but I think it's something you got to consider when you actually take the decision to try to become a good in-game leader. I think that for me, it's the motivation is coming from a desire to be playing this game maybe more than the next 2-3 years, where I think my individual level to some degree, don't know if it's going to deteriorate or how it is. I think last year I played fairly well, but if I wanted to play this game for a long time, which is what I love to do, I've been playing professionally half my life now, since I was 14, now I'm 28. I think the natural decision for me was maybe try to transition and actually commit to it. I think I did a lot of leading, both by example outside of the server and in the server as well, so it's not too big of a change actually for me. I think that's maybe the biggest surprise. I think that's like how it's been going in practice and stuff, is that it's not that it's not difficult, but it's not that different.
Okay. How does this conversation come about to take over leadership? Does he knock on your door and go, hey boss, I want to start leading? What happens?
I don't know. I think for me, I would say I also tweeted, I think at the RMR, that I was not enjoying the game, but I think the process for me was like, in some way, I kind of didn't enjoy the way we were playing for some time. I think it was hard for me to play the CS that I wanted with the style we were playing, and that's something I talked to with the coaching team we had and Casper, and I was pretty annoyed a lot of times, and I didn't feel like we were playing the way I wanted to play, and I think that kind of feeling made me think about how do I actually want to play the game, how do I enjoy the game, how do I view like the best chances of winning as a team and stuff like that. So I think that's how maybe the thought started in my head.
Was this playing in your mind for a long time? I mean, obviously, this dates back to when blameF took over in game leadership. But I mean, when you're talking about like not enjoying the game, obviously that's where people will think like what you're talking about. Like, okay, the way blameF was approaching the game wasn't maybe the best for you. So how did that thought process begin?
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually started when Benjamin took over, and I don't mean to disrespect him, and I think also he said he didn't want to like be an in-game leader going forward. So I think maybe I didn't enjoy that way of playing, and yeah, I think it maybe already started back then. I think in our conversations it was not too far apart, at least when I voiced like my concerns and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously talk a lot with all of our players and try to figure out where they're at the specific moment where we have to talk, but we're also looking into, the weeks and the months and the years to come when we have those discussions. And yeah, it wasn't a surprise for us that we had to do something. I think it's not related necessarily to our results at the RMR, because clearly we had much more potential than what we showed, and yeah, that's when we had natural discussions, not only with Nikolai but also with other people in and around the team to kind of figure out what's the right direction for us as a team and as a group. And yeah, I mean, people are very supportive in terms of having Nikolai in-game leading them, and I think that's very important when you have a new in-game leader, that he really has the support of his teammates and also has the backing of a great coach, supportive elements around the team to kind of help him only focus on what his task is right now, and that is to be not only the leader on the server but also the captain in general for us, right? So
I mean, you're the guy who makes the decision, right? In the end, I suppose. Then how do you? Okay, so you come to this situation, right? You failed the RMR. I mean, you're saying that maybe it didn't have so much to do with the result itself, but you are faced with a situation after the RMR where you have the split in the team. Okay, like there's obviously like you're not playing up to the you wanted, as Device was saying. How do you make the decision of where to go forward? Like who to side with maybe, and whether maybe this isn't the way and you can get a different in-game leader?
I mean, of course, it's my responsibility. So it's also me making the final decisions. But I would be stupid not to listen to people who have a lot more knowledge about Counter-Strike than me and try to get different opinions and kind of put them in different values depending on the topics that we're discussing, and also looking at external factors, things that are not necessarily CS related. So it's a whole analyzation of all of those components, and then it's my job to be objective and be able to make the right decisions on a specific topic, right? And when it comes to Counter-Strike, of course, I need to listen to people who know more about CS than me. When it comes to maybe mental training, I would be listening to a mental coach about those concerns, and I will be asking a lot of questions. Some of them are very relevant, some of them might be a little bit stupid, but that's part of the whole process of us coming to the right decision, right?
I'm going to sound like a bit of a dick here, which is pretty normal. But to be blunt about it, right, and just so everyone's aware, you inherited a lot of the problems of Astralis when you joined. You didn't cause them. There was a lot of them roster-wise that happened before you became a part of the team moving from Heroic. But Astralis have been known to not make the best roster moves in recent history, right? The team has gone from being the top of Counter-Strike with you at the helm of the star player, the poster boy, MVPs, multiple major wins, and then the man with all of that accolades and trophies and still the face of the team, right? We know you left, we know you came back, but you're still the face of Astralis. You're still the face of Danish Counter-Strike. I think you're the most recognizable player without a doubt, and people probably expect you to still have many good years of Counter-Strike left in you. And then the decision just comes, I'm going to in-game lead now. Like, it's kind of where I led. Like, the tarnishing of the reputation is what I think a lot of people fear, because people look at you as one of the absolute greats of Counter-Strike. And just with the track record of star players who have tried to then become in-game leaders, like, does that not scare you at all? Is that not anything that you looked at? Has that not been a consideration? And even from an org perspective, do you wonder, like, because it is the face of your team, right? Like, is that, and the decisions haven't been great. Like, Ents was shit this major. Like, didn't you think maybe we can get Glaive back? You know, imagine Glaive and Device reunited with a couple of new young boys in there. You got Staehr, you got Jabbi, you got stavn. Shit, that sounds really exciting. Like, but you guys seem to pull the trigger quite quickly. So you must have had a lot of conviction in this decision, because I'll say it, blameF is a beta, right? I don't care, he is, right? Like, if back when I was playing Counter-Strike, if somebody played like that, they're a beta. I thought JKS was a fucking beta, right? Like that's people get better after time, right? And what you're talking about, the play style of it, I'm rambling, but the play style of it that you're getting frustrated about, you can understand why. Like, from a player perspective, watching the type of Counter-Strike, you never got a chance to even play the game in a lot of the rounds. You guys are just fucking 4-1-ing. It's like, what's going on? Like, I'm getting a bit frustrated right now.
Like,
sorry,
a bit of a rant,
but I'm just worried. I'm worried.
Question.
Yeah.
I don't know where this goes.
I think you have to pick apart the question a little bit. I think if we have to, for me, I can only answer like if we're talking about doubts or, as you say, like tarnishing your reputation and stuff like that. I think for me, I know what I have achieved and I know what I've done with CS, and I think I know kind of like my capabilities and what I'm good at, and I actually do think that, yes, I understand like the worry, but in some way I don't necessarily think like I can compare myself to the other guys that transitioned to in-game leaders and it didn't working out. I don't know their process, and I don't know how and why they didn't want to do it. I think for me, now we've been practicing for some time, and yeah, we're sitting here doing PR, and I think like doing PR is also trying to talk about why and give the reasons. But I think the most important thing is just to showcase actual good Counter-Strike, and I think that we have been producing that in our practices, and I think we can replicate that in officials. I think that's the most important thing for me. I think I understand it would be stupid not to have those doubts, but I also do think that in your career, there is in many sports people that have led by example, and then I would say changing your role in CS. I don't know how you can even compare it to teams, but for me, I think also for stavn and jabbi, it also gives them a sense of security playing the same kind of way of CS that they were playing a little bit with KD and what Orb was calling. And I do think like the roles match a lot better, the way we view CS match a lot better, and I'm not the guy that makes the decision if we signed another in-game leader or not. But for me, I think that I was willing to give it a shot, and I think that with the effort I've put into it, I think that it's provided good enough reasons to keep going this way. And in the beginning, yes, you have the doubts, but I honestly do feel like that it feels kind of natural, and that's the only way we in the team can operate with. If it was feeling like shit, then yeah, I would have way more concerns than I do right now. But it's also, yes, this is a lot of talk, but I think in the end, the only thing we will be judged on is the results, right? And that's what, like as you said, it's never been a process since I came back to Astralis. I'm the only guy left from the team I joined, including coaching and everything. So I think for me, the most important thing, and that's also why you see the success of Eternal Fire and some of the other teams, is like having time to produce like good results and create a core. And the same thing we did with the old Astralis. We played together for a lot of time before we had success. And I think that's what Astralis maybe hasn't had, or what you say, like they've been always rushing the timeline. Yeah. And I think the timeline has to be a little bit lenient in some way. But it's hard when you invest a lot of money and you don't see the initial return. I think that's the difference with some of the teams that get time, is maybe not the most heavy invested teams. Like we're talking about Liquid maybe changing already, but they've had a few months and not that many officials, but it's because it's an expensive team. If the team had 1/10 of a cost, we would give them half a year, maybe a year. And I think that it matters a lot to how you make decisions in his job. Yeah, in my opinion.
But you also spoke about the history of Astralis, and I wasn't there. I wasn't part of it, so I can not talk about it. But I think for the time being, right here, we are at a point where we actually have the material to form and create a really, really good team for the first time in a long time in Astralis. Now we actually have the quality on, I would say, all the positions that we have. We now have people who view Counter-Strike the same way, and we have people who like to spend time with each other, and we can start building that process that you're talking about. I think some of the issues that has been in Astralis for the time before I was there was also that nobody was certain of their position. And that's also something that we understand with this change with Device being the in-game leader. It will take time. It might not take time for us to make good results or beat good teams, but become stable and create a foundation where we can build upon it. You said it perfectly, I'd say, with, team needs time, and doesn't mean that you can't perform while you are in the process, but it's just important that you kind of stick to it for longer time that we have been able to do in Astralis for a long time. So that's definitely also one of our goals to kind of, use the situation that we're in now and spend it in the best way possible.
Well, there's two contrasting things that you just said there, right? So Devices just said that obviously teams with a bit higher budgets are probably looking for results and changes sooner, and you're saying here the stability and time. So how long does this roster get? I know I'm not asking you to put a number on the wall and we all count down the days, but is this like you're giving it like 6 months to see the growth that you're looking for? Like what are we talking about from an Astralis perspective?
I mean, it's difficult to put a specific timeline, but for me, it's about using the rest of 24. 24, yeah.
Yeah, that is
still in 24.
It's getting away from us.
So spend the rest of 24 kind of building, and what you want to see is the development all the time, a constant or development going forward. And if you can see that, then it's just about giving it more time. But that's the goal for me. That is that we can take this team, start building, and continue with it for at least a year, and then we'll have to evaluate. Hopefully, we are at a point where we can stick with what we have, and people have developed. Not only as a team but also individually, and then we can go on from there. But right now I think we have a really good material to work with, and people are young, people are hungry, people have experience, but some are more hungry than no.
I was wondering if you were referring to the young or the hungry part there.
No, but it's also part of kind of this transition for me, at least when I see it, is also for you to become hungry again. You have always been hungry since I saw you, but now you have a completely new motivation to kind of prove yourself. And that's also important when you match it with young players who maybe got a taste of being really, really good, but then having this period of time where they were not able to compete at the highest of levels. So yeah, I think it's a good mix.
So after you.
You were talking about the enjoyment of the game, right? And I mean, obviously a lot of it you spoke before was about roles and like the way that you want to play the game and all that stuff. We obviously saw that stavn and jabbi maybe weren't in the best form in this period since they've joined Astralis, and I wonder how much of that you've begun to see already, in your practice or since you've taken over, of that changing, or if at all, like has it actually improved?
They didn't look happy. They didn't look very happy when they were playing before. It did look pretty like the whole team, You guys all look like really stressed.
Hit it a bit spot on what you said, and I don't want to like go back on it too much. I think looking forward, I think one of my finest missions is to make use of the strengths we have, and we have a lot of strengths in our team. I think people are starting to see what I've seen in Staehr for some time. I've been talking about him as a prodigy for some time, and I think that right now, the first mission was to actually move stavn into his heroic roles. I think blame had a lot of those CT roles, moving jabbi into also some of those rotator positions as well, and then trying to figure out how we like position them in the good situations they're used to. And I think that we're realizing that potential in practice, and that's also like we can sit here and talk a lot about practice and stuff, and I feel like it's just like it's got to be
a waste of time for you.
It's so hard for people to be like, practice results, right? But it's for us it matters because it's what we have right now, and we have a tournament coming up, right? So I think so. I think, and I hope we can show that at China. I think that we have had some time, and as Kasper said, it's still a progress. We're gonna learn, and we have to view it as a process as well. But I do think that there's a way better chance of us actually doing stuff because we are aligned in how we view the game.
All right. What about why bro? right? We see him get picked up, and it's another one of these conversations that could be had. Well, if they waited until after the major, we just saw how Ecstatic did. Maybe there was a player that you wanted to pick up from there, right? Or maybe there were other Danish names. Bro gets picked up, and people are like, "Oh, he was kind of just okay on Monty," right? Like, why have you decided on Bro?
I think for me, I didn't know him at all as a person beforehand, but what I saw in him in Monte is like a guy that's been dealing with a lot of shit in Monte, shit roles, and maybe a difficult team to be in regards to like the hierarchy or what you say. And I think he's been performing both consistently and quite well for a team like Monte, in my opinion. Maybe if you look at the stats, they're not like green everywhere and stuff like that, but I don't think everyone in the team can have 125, and I think that was also one of the maybe issues we had before, that you have to balance that out, and you don't really necessarily, in my opinion, want a lot of guys, or maybe even guys that look for that. So in him you get a consistent guy that's pretty good aimer. I think that like he can handle himself. He's been kind of left a little bit alone in the Monte team, not in a bad way, but that's just how I think I viewed it, and I think he did really well, in my opinion. And I think now when I have him in my team, I'm happy to have him. I think he does a lot of things good and safe, and I mean like in a way that can translate as well into bigger games.
They had decent structure in Monty, like the way that they approach the game. Like I'm with what you're saying. Like he would have his impactful moments, but he was never in like round defining moments unless he would get 2 kills in an anchor spot or something like that.
Yeah.
But do you find, and I guess Casper, because you were at Heroic during the success of having an AWPing in-game leader, but from like a more micro or a macro position as like a Counter-Strike nerdy one, do you find having the AWPer being the in-game leader frees up a lot more of your riflers to do more? Because the amount of responsibility they must have across the map to relay information to you, it would be more than a traditional setup, right? Like Carrigan trying to take space, relay the info. Your riflers have to relay. You're not running in combat open.
No, I think you hit the nail on the spot. You can also utilize the players we have. We have active T players. We have, I think, Staehr, who is one of the best guys at creating gaps in defense, and you have this guy xertioN as well. He's really good at it as well, sitting over there. Right, I think those guys are really important for the T side structure, and I think that the guys we have, maybe 2 of them are really used to it, but also the way you can structure it is actually also for the AWPer. There's a lot of not AFKing on the T side, but there's a lot of time where you can actually look at the big picture and you have the overview, because the AWP, it's utilized for some opening picks, but it's also used to create support, right? Support and safety in the things you're doing. So you actually have, like, for me, that's also what I said, like the big picture, you don't lose that much as I thought I would, especially on the T side, and I think on the CT side, I've always been
you're calling your own shots anyway, right?
Yeah, calling. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, that's also why for me it was more natural transition that I thought it was gonna be in some way. But yeah, as you said, you're gonna have T-side players, riflers that have more responsibility, more impact. You use them more, and I think that if we describe like the philosophy of the way we want to play is like also a bit like chaotic, like creating gaps and manipulating the map, and you have to utilize your rifles for that, and you use like rounds where you have intent to create what you want on the map, right? Without going too much.
Sounds pretty heroic.
I was gonna say he's like taking a page out of you were saying about Kadian right before and playing up to that style. Like it seems like you really are taking a page out of that book.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I think actually a lot of teams also adapted in some way like their approach as well. Yeah.
Does that mean like we're gonna see the hierarchy change? I mean, I guess that's pretty obvious. Like considering the previous in-game leader is entirely out of the question now. Does it just mean that stavn is gonna be your second caller now, or is your second caller now as it was with Heroic and Kadian?
I actually think the second caller thing is maybe not outdated, but I think there's kind of like maybe it's more map dependent. Like if you take Ancient, I think one of the most important T players is the guy that's creating gaps in mid. So he's probably the secondary caller in what like he wants to manipulate that part of the map and stuff like that. So it definitely changes from map to map. I think that both STABBI and STABBI.
Hey, we're all doing it.
I was gonna say
we're all doing it, man. We're all doing
I
it.
was gonna say it. Yeah, stavn and jabbi both are really good.
It's really stuck now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys should make. This is where you need to do, Casper. You should make some T-shirts or something.
It's like
They
take
would
a page out of Heroic's book, man.
Get yourself.
That's the reason.
I have an important point as well regarding the whole, bro signing.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that people also miss is that you only have a certain amount of resources in the team, and that's also important to highlight. I think that where do we want to put our resources in Astralis? We want to give them to Device. We want to give them to stavn, jabbi. Those are the guys that we want to give a lot of resources. And then you have someone like Staehr, who is he doesn't take too many resources, but he can do a lot without. And that's also one of the things with someone like Bro, that he doesn't need a lot of resources, but he adds a lot of resources to the team.
Sure.
And that's something that we underestimated with the previous lineup. We also had blameF, who is a great player, and he also needed resources to be that player, and that kind of didn't go as well as we wanted it to, and that's also part of why we wanted a guy like Bro in there. And we also know him from our talent team before, and he is a really quick learner, and he's a really hardworking guy as well. And that's also, very important when you want to, build new philosophy, when you want to, CS2 is still new for a lot of people. We have to remember that as well, and you need that kind of grind in the team as well. So I just wanted to add that in terms of why we chose Bro as a fifth guy.
I've got another fun one that comes with some, I wouldn't say, backlash, but the community is quite quizzical on it. Ruggah as the coach. Now, in OG, I think we have one OG OG fan in the building who wrote a question before. OG have had about 0 success in the history of the roster, right? And Ruggah's essentially been the coach of that team the entire time. So when you sit there and you go, why the fuck have they got Ruggah to coach, right? Like what is Ruggah bringing to the squad as the coach of the team?
If I start, for me as an in-game leader, I think that he has helped me a lot already, but I think we actually talked about this the other day. Like, Ruggah's reputation is probably the worst compared to what he actually brings. Like, he's also, from what we also kind of thought a little bit, right? It's like when you hear about him and the results and everything compared to what he actually offers is, for me, the biggest contrast I've seen in my time working with CS. So I think he's really, really good.
Okay.
But I do really get what you're saying, and I also think that that's kind of maybe also why he hasn't transitioned into another job, or I don't know. But I think that if you ask the players that has worked with him, I think they're very happy with him. So yeah, at least that's like my first thought is that the contrast between his like reputation compared to what he brings is very big, and I think if we have to walk through all of his like good
sure, we'll be here.
elements, it's like we can go on for a long time. I think that it will in the same way as before, talking about practice and all of that. I think we will in the end be judged on our results, and I think that the same goes for him, right? And that's why he is judged and viewed as he is, because of the results.
But that's the thing, right? This is it's a very competition, a result-based industry. Who would have thought?
That's how it is.
But this is when Heroic went through all the drama that they did once upon a time, right? With the whole Hunden saga and everything like that. I remember just sitting there and going, well, the only way that they can, kind of tell people to shut the fuck up is by winning, right? And that's kind of the same thing with your conversation. I think one of the problems is when you have such a big fan base, and you can see Astralis shirts dotted around here all over the place, right? In terms of where we are right now and the amount of fans for Astralis. And I remember I got on a plane years ago going back from the States, and I jumped on and I was sitting next to two blokes. I was like, oh, where are you from? And they're like, oh, we're from Denmark. I'm like, oh, have you heard of Astralis? And they're like, yeah, they don't even know anything about Counter-Strike, right? Like, it's that level. It's like when you're in Poland and you talk to a taxi driver about Pasha, and they're like, Pasha biceps. They have no idea what Counter-Strike is, but you guys are that prolific here. And I think the thing is, it comes with that expectation. We even had like a question in the box. It was like, is there too much pressure on Danish players at this major? Right? And you guys went through the pressure of the RMRs. Did you feel there was like an added element of that with it being the home major, or was it just the team was that dysfunctional that it was never going to work anyway?
I think the latter mostly. I think it's natural to have expectations and pressure. I think what matters the most is, I mean, like, in some way, the pressure from the outside should not burst the bubble of the team. I think the pressure we put on each other and ourselves should be what affects the performance, but also eases up like the pressure in some way. So I think, yes, there is naturally added pressure. I think carrying the name of Astralis and some of the other big name teams as well. And yeah, it's just part of the game. I don't think it hurts. I think what has hurt the most is probably asking for patience to the fans, since I maybe departed, and that's maybe 3 years ago soon at least, and not necessarily having seen anything other than a few semifinals at Cologne. That's the only thing that has been right. So I think that's obviously the toughest thing, is to ask for patience from very passionate fans that we love and we want to make proud, and we want to make ourselves proud as well. So I think that maybe adds pressure, and also that we will always be compared to the old team. I think that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But do you not think that, I mean, when you were watching you at the RMR, you guys looked scared. Like, there's no getting around that. Like,
the mood could have just been that shit, though.
Huh?
The mood could have just been that shit.
I mean, that's also possible, right? But, like, when you look at the team, like, especially when you look at that, Staehr was the only one that was kind of performing even above the level that we would have expected, you know, and everybody else looked exactly like what we thought the pressure was on the team, you know, on everybody other than Staehr, because like those are all the big names, right? We're all expecting that. Like, do you not agree with that?
I mean, like, yeah, we should have closed the Spirit game, in my opinion.
Okay, I mean that's
the Vertigo best of one, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
We could have been, should have been. I had a lot of that in my career for a long time. But yeah, I think that I don't think the pressure. I think honestly it was just the mood, the way we're playing, the like people. If you go into the details, and if you pull up like a 2D map, I can walk you through like some of the processes that just fucks up, and it just hurts. And if you have to work every day, and every day you go to work and you have to compromise on your values, that should be kind of strong when you're talking about CS. I think it naturally just like breaks down you, and it breaks you down and breaks your character down in some way. And I think that's what hurt the most, like, to be honest. And I think the guys coming from Heroic, winning Counter-Strike, like, and their way of seeing Counter-Strike and is like, there's no compromise. And if you
very selfless Counter-Strike is
yeah.
I just hope everybody's reading between the lines here. You guys, we can do it later. We'll talk about it later. But I'm reading between the lines here with what you're saying.
Yeah, and I just think naturally Benjamin is way better off not being an in-game leader, because it translated too much into the way we were playing. And I think that there is room for people like that in teams, and there is teams where players play the same way. I'm not gonna name the names, but
I've heard this, bro.
I wasn't thinking about that, but I think that
think about riflers, mate. Right?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But I just think that if you have that in your leader, I think that it breaks down too much, and the pressure was not too much. I think that. I don't think so.
All right, let me throw an even harder one at the two of you there.
The interview.
Yeah. Well, that got a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
How did that all shake down? Because I knew blameF wouldn't do it, right? But and I understand for you as well. It falls to you next because of who you are.
Yeah.
And you would have just been as heartbroken as everybody else. But how did Staehr end up being the one to walk up to the plate there and have to give the interview?
I mean, just to go into the situation, I think in hindsight, it should have been me, maybe. Not
should have been blame.
Yeah.
Then if it wasn't blame, it should have been you.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. But I mean, like, with the responsibility you take upon yourself as a leader, you have to be available for those sort of things, for sure. And I'm disappointed in myself not doing it, but I also do feel like, it's not that often you see the star players like doing those kind of interviews. So also, when I thought about like the backlash coming to my name, I was also thinking, it's maybe a high standard to ask, but it's also what I want for myself. I see myself like being able to do that stuff. So I don't really have any excuse. I think that the only thing I can say is that now I am the leader. I will do those things, and I do think I should have done it. Like in hindsight, yeah, it sucks. Staehr is an ice cold guy.
Yeah, it's good to take some responsibility for it, right? I think that's one of the tougher things, right? I think for Staehr to go up there and do it, though, it actually put a lot of stock in him as a person. Like, I think that would have, like, even considering it's bad optics, it's gone, well, shit, like, this kid's got... Because I've heard, I've mentioned it a few times now, but Azar only played with Staehr for, like, a month in Sprout, which is fucking nothing. But he only had positive things to say. He said his communication was, like, in-game leader-level communication with taking map control and communicating like that, and he only had positive things. So I only had a positive view of the kid. He just, like, had a bum go of things in some of the positions he had when he first joined Astralis and stuff. So
but I was actually going to ask about that because, like, I mean, we've only seen him shine considering his role only after he moved into the roles that we kind of consider bitch roles, right? We kind of consider they to be the tough ones.
We had some okay ones.
Some of them, yes.
Some were okay.
But I think we also had Harry kind of make a point. Harry, our kind of like now stats guy, whatever, people know him who...
You're the stats guy, Mr. Spreadsheet.
Not really anymore. He's taken the mantle now. But he's kind of made the point that you've almost accidentally made him your late round guy, and that's also part of why he was beginning to shine. Why do you think he only started to show some of the what you were talking about before after he moved roles?
It's tough. I think we also had that kind of realization with him. I think that when he has big responsibility, he also was requiring a lot of what do you say before? What is it? Resources. So you have an amount of resource, like every round you can use your nades and to take which control. But I think putting him in situations like underground overpass, he would just shine because the only thing he needs is kind of a smoke at the door. He will do it himself, and that's his area, and he will watch the demos, and he will find his way to play that position of the map. And for me, I think I've said it for a long time, I think that he is so amazing. Like, he's so good, and you can put him to do whatever. He can beat AWP as well. He is crazy good, and whatever task you give him, he will like solve it really well. And that's why I think the resources available for him when he was playing the other positions where maybe there were not enough resources available in regards to that, and now where I think he has more responsibility in the new team as well with the new roles, but still some of the other aspect of the game as well.
Okay.
But he is also a guy that has developed a lot in the past 6 months as a player, but also as a person. Like, now he's also coming with a lot of stuff to the table, and that's something that we demanded from him, because he also has a great view of how to play CS and how can we make it proactive, and how can we do all those things. And I think he's done a great job also, starting contributing a lot more to how the team should work and develop in what direction. Now he's also much more a part of it, and has been ever since he got the new roles in January, I believe.
Okay. Is that what you guys are going to be relying on? Especially like now that you're going through this transition, like you're a new in-game leader, obviously you're going to need more people to help you along that process and be able to give you all the inputs. We were talking about secondary in-game leading. I know secondary calling. I know you didn't really believe in that, but is that something that you think is going to make a big difference, like having more shared responsibility in the team than compared to before?
Yes, maybe. I think for sure. Like, I don't know how that's how CS is. There is a shared responsibility. I don't think you can look at any of the teams that's going to the arena where the caller is like the guy that makes all the calls. So yeah, there's definitely shared responsibility, and the guys are like map dependently helping a lot, and that's why like I think the secondary calling aspect is like, we maybe have stavn and jabbi that are really good in the mid rounds to have also a big picture view or a view of their part of the map, how you can execute and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a shared responsibility with all 4 guys, including me as well, to give me the possibility to make the best decision possible, right? And sometimes they will make the decision, or they will like push me toward the direction of the decision they want. I think it's very shared in in Counter-Strike at the moment. It's not necessarily two guys that run the show.
All right, here's what we need to do now. We've put you under the hot lights because it's quite hot here. I've asked probably my hardest hitting questions. So, I've grilled you guys. Now we can take a bit more of a shift and we can go a little bit sunnier. So what's it, because we know, because you reached out to come on HLTV Confirmed with Striker a couple of weeks ago, but you were going into a boot camp straight away. So what have things been like since? Team comes together, announcement happens, straight into a boot camp. What's that been like?
It's been really nice. I think that, the process of also breaking down CS and like talking philosophy more than just going into the server and talking map dependent is kind of exciting and has been exciting. And it's just having actual time together. Now we had a lot of practice time. I think has been nice, and we're actually doing our second bootcamp at the moment. We had the first one in the beginning, so I think we have had good preparation, and we've had all the talks outside of the game needed to bring our values and our life view into.
Did you bin everything? Light everything on fire? Start again?
I would say we definitely did. We binned everything, and ruggah obviously had a lot of stuff that he also believed in regards to viewing CS and stuff, but I think that the most important part was actually like binning things, and also not, for me at least, to build a playbook to not just look at a MOUZ demo, then you look at a Virtus.pro demo, then you look at a Liquid demo, and then I take this, because I think that you don't understand why people are doing.
You can copy it, but you don't understand the philosophy behind it. Yeah.
So I think that breaking it down and just building your own like way of seeing things and utilizing manipulating the map has been very like exciting, for sure.
And what comes next, right? You mentioned China. That's next on the agenda.
Yeah, we travel in a week, I think.
Just after the major.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be fun to see the major teams. I think they will be pretty roasted in some way. Yeah, but in a week, and then we have the Pro League, I think, afterwards, right?
But right now we are in the position where we have to kind of prove ourselves again and kind of build on the world ranking to kind of claim our position at Cologne, all those kind of things, and I think that's been the highest priority when we knew, okay, this is the team that we want to have. Then it was to kind of take advantage that now we actually had the time. We had the weeks now after the RMR, and while all the other teams were playing, like now we actually have the time that you never have as a CS team to sit down, actually not in front of a computer, and actually talk about Counter-Strike, talk about being a team, talk about all those things, because in Counter-Strike it's so often it's just rushed, So that was a big goal of ours to kind of take advantage of a bad position that we found ourselves in, and as you said, 2 boot camps, a lot of online practice, but also a lot of talks outside of the server in late evenings, and I think for us now it's just to prove that we are on the right path, and that start with China, and then everything just go crazy again, right? Then it's Pro League, and I think we're gonna play a tournament in Abu Dhabi maybe, and Blast Spring finals as well, right? So there'll be a lot of action, and I think it was good for us, everything taken into consideration, that we had the time to think and analyze, and then come up with some ways of working again.
A nice reset.
Yeah.
Is that also why you guys made the decision kind of so quickly, to be able to have this lead-in time, compared to all the major teams? We're also kind of probably going to consider a lot of changes. They're going to be now where you guys were a month ago, considering like what's your future?
I mean, we were willing to wait if the perfect candidate was available after the major, but for us, we also make analysis all the time. We kind of know where we're at, and we look at different people
and who's potentially going to be available, and all that stuff.
You have to do that all the time, in my opinion, and that's not because you need to make a change necessarily, but it's just to kind of know what's going on, and it's also making you a little bit more wiser on your own team, and by thinking about and discussing these things. So I mean, we would have waited if we thought that the player that we needed was 1 month away, but in this situation it was just really advantage to our side.
There was no Hooksy on the horizon, possibly, if G2 didn't go so well.
I mean we had a lot of discussion with Nikolai becoming the in-game leader, and that was the most reasonable discussion that we could have, and that's why we went with what we went with.
We've got more fun questions now, Striker. We got this stuff to give away. What's your permaban?
Can't tell you.
I tried. He passed the first in-game leader test right there. Okay. Well,
I
you
was
guys.
close to saying it.
Yeah. Fuck. We're gonna have to wait a couple of weeks to see that in China. Okay. Well, you did bring some goodies here to give away. I don't know how we want to give this away.
We have a bunch of stuff.
Who's wearing an Astralis jersey?
Who wants a new one?
I think they all would. All right. Do you guys want to pick, or do you want us to give it away, or how do you want us to go about this?
Me?
Yeah.
You guys can give away one thing each at least.
Well, there's three things.
We have 4 even. Like there's a
signed
cap,
jersey.
there's a cap as well.
Oh, there's a cap.
signed jersey. I think all players on this one, right?
Yeah.
So that's quite a good one. How are we going to decide how to give this is normally where it should be like I should have an idea of how to work this out. Or we can give it away when they're gone. We don't have to give it away right now. What would you guys like to do?
You can take it with you home if you want.
Okay. What size is it? I don't know. Is it a large?
Gift.
Okay. It's a gift to HLTV. All right, well, look, I don't want to keep you here forever, and also I said I'd try and keep it snappy, and we did anything but we could have spoken to you guys about this all night. Now, I really appreciate the time, and I did ask some questions that I didn't think I'd get answers to, so thank you very much for obliging with that. Is there anything you want to say to the people in the room, the people at home, the fans, anything before we let you go?
I think I touched upon it, like we asked for patience for some time now. I think that, honestly, just thank you. I think that for me, the reason why I've been doing this is because of being a part of a team is fun, but also what we've created here in Denmark is quite unique, as you've said. And tak in Danish is thank you. So it means a lot to me.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Kasper. Thank you, Device. Appreciate your time. And we'll let you two get the hell out of here because it is hot under these lights. So thank you. And we'll give this stuff away a little bit later. All right. Thank you, boys.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. We can pick Prof back up. Okay. Well, damn. We asked some questions there, didn't we? Thank you very much. Thanks, mate. Hopefully the questions weren't too harsh. I was trying to be somewhere in the middle. Thanks, Kasper. Thank you. All right, Prof, welcome back. Take a seat. What did you think? Yeah, put the headset on. You want me to tell you everything to do? Talk now?
Thank you.
What did you think of that?
That was much longer than we promised.
I know, but we needed to go. Right? There's a lot of questions to ask right there.
It was a lot of great answers, a lot of great questions. And I honestly, if I was in your spot, I would probably do the same. It's just kind of inviting. You want to know more.
Yeah.
So it's just like I heard you were like trying to close it down, and Striker is just like, oh, well, what about? Yeah.
I was thinking about it. It's too serious though.
Yeah. Casper also said no to the heroic merch. I don't know why. Yeah. As a feed.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to give away later, but we got to keep things flying because I don't want to keep this next gentleman waiting for too long because he's got some Counter-Strike to play in a couple of days and he's been idly sitting by. Welcome xertioN from MOUZ. All right, guests flying off the shelves here. He got praise from Device as well while sitting in the crowd. That's not too bad, is it? Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Hey, man.
All right, well, in case you guys missed it, MOUZ went 3-0 and they're in the playoffs and they're, I would say, the favourites on their side of the bracket. And we've got one of their... Well, this is the thing. I was reading some stuff. Who's a star player for map? This guy here is a map control specialist.
This way.
I love getting him in the server. I praise you maybe too much, mate.
Why?
You get too much, mate? Well, nah.
It's never too much.
How you feeling? You guys are one of the teams that you went 3-0 in the RMRs. You go 3-0 in the elimination stage. You're straight towards the playoffs. You're the favourite team on your side of the bracket. How's that marinating?
Feeling good. I think the easiest way to say it is hard work pays off. I think we put in the right work.
We're getting a lot of that tonight. Everyone's saying the hard work's paying off.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to see results finally, in a way. Obviously we had the stance with David, and then we went into standing with Brollan, and now he's more permanent, as you can say. Like he's in the team now, so yeah, it's just nice to get to work with him and to progress.
You mentioned Brollan. Is it like you guys have to go deep in the major? You're going to use the prize money to get him out of NIP? Like, is this like rescue Brollan fund?
I love Brollan personally. I think he's a great addition to the team, and obviously I hope to keep him after the major.
Okay, well, we've discussed this before. We're trying to decide where Brollan staying in the team is predicated on. And like I said, you went 3-0 in RMRs. You went 3-0 within the elimination stage. Do you have to like? I don't know what the scenario is. I'm sure you don't know what the contract scenario is with him either. You want him, but how deep do you think you have to go? Has there been like a conversation? As Sabrina said, hey, look, you've got to make it to the semi-finals at least, and then you can keep your new toy. Do you know or nah? It's just you wait and see what happens with the orgs afterwards.
No, definitely not for Sabrina. She's the sweetest, so she would be like, yeah, it doesn't matter the results. We want to keep him. So I mean, I don't know nothing, to be honest. Nobody in the teams knows. Maybe the coach. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't really think there is a goal. It's kind of how it works out. As you said, I think it's been going pretty good. I mean, semi-final Katowice, 3-0, 3-0. I mean, we have lost only one game on land this year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think things are going pretty good, and I don't think there's like necessarily a goal. It's more about feeling.
Okay.
It's funny because that one game everyone's talking about, and that's what people are judging you on. That's the phase Katowice playoff, right?
Yeah,
where
exactly. Yeah.
You kind of did not really show up. So how does it feel kind of unfair to you guys?
I mean, to be honest, I think that it's fair to say that we didn't show up. I think nobody showed up that day, maybe except like, I think Torzi and Jimpat showed up individually, but not as a team, we didn't. And I think that's the biggest working point we had after that, to ensure that the team is more like system-based, more consistency in how we play. And I think that we showed that in both the RMR and also the elimination stage. Even though we had close games, I don't think that really mattered too much. Yeah, I think definitely it's fair to say, but I also think that if you look at our track record, it's pretty good. So, yeah, I think it's unfair at some point as well. But, I mean, I guess that's just how the media and the world works. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
But it is a stage thing.
I was he just like nudges towards you.
But it is a stage thing, right? I guess that's the next conversation. Like the hurdle for Spirit was, yeah, they're playing good, but they need to do it on the stage. Right, for you guys, do you feel that's a similar conversation in the sense that you need to do it on the stage? Because you're going up against G2 who... Look, we can have a conversation whether they should have made it or they shouldn't have made it, but they're there now and they have good stage players like Monacy and Nico, Hunter. They all perform well on stages. Is that a worry where, for you guys, you can't say the same at the moment?
I mean, not at all for me personally. I think also for the team. Obviously, we have not shown the best MOUZ in stage. It's the truth. But at the end of the day, I think that it's all about experience, and I think that now we're more confident than we ever was in our game plan. So I feel like it will be much easier to feel better on stage and to feel good about it. But yeah, I personally obviously respect G2 guys. I think they have a lot of experience on their team. But at the end of the day, I do think we're a better team than them, and we will show that in the stage, hopefully.
Okay, so it's not a matchup you're particularly worried about. What about the side of the bracket as a whole, right? Because you've got Na'Vi versus EF. You're favored over all of those teams. Does it kind of... Well, the discussion that we were having a little bit earlier... It kind of
flips the switch, doesn't it, for MOUZ? Like before,
now they're the favourites on that side
exactly,
of the bracket. Whereas, do you feel that way? Do you feel that you guys... I don't want to say have a clear path. Every game's difficult, right? We all know those platitudes. But is it something where this is an opportunity that you guys think you should be seizing? Or is it classic one game at a time?
I mean, I think definitely in terms of team goal, it's one game at a time. I mean, we're still a young team. Obviously, as you said, we are not that experienced. But I mean, personally, for me, I have really high hopes for myself and the team. I want to win. I want to win the major. For me, it's a goal. And I think it's very reachable, as you said. I mean, I don't know if I would classify us as favorites. I mean, maybe you could say that. But I think that teams are pretty close in level right now. And one off game from this team or us, you just lose. And I think that it's just important that we continue showing consistency. And even if it's not this major, maybe it's the next one. And yeah, I mean, as you said, I think that Na'Vi, Eternal Fire, everyone basically in the playoffs deserves to be here. I think they're all great teams, also including G2, of course. I'm not underestimating anyone, but yeah, I think that I have high hopes, and I just hope that we prove it, basically.
Prof was saying that people judge you on one game. I actually judge you on another game, which is entirely the opposite direction, which is the one game that Spirit have lost this year with their 5-man lineup, which is to you guys at the RMR, right? So how much does that fill you kind of like with confidence and with hope? Like, we were the only team that beat Spirit so far.
I mean, I think we were happy about it. Maybe in the moment it happened, but to be honest, without disrespect to them, we don't really take that into account too much anymore. I mean, they're a team just like any other for me, and obviously they're really good and they have Donk. I mean, the kid is incredible, but yeah, I think that us as a team, we treat every team basically equally. We don't really look at teams like this team or we beat them or we lost to them or whatever. As for us, it's basically same old, basically every team. And I mean, yeah, maybe it's a good thing that we are the only team who beat them on land with the full roster, but at the end of the day, I think that we just have to continue playing well against everyone, and that matchup for me I don't really think about it, basically.
But you still have to be glad that FaZe is on the other side, don't you? Because you have lost like 6 games in a row to them.
To be honest, I really don't care. I mean, it might sound like fake or not real, but I mean, honestly, I don't care. And I think that they are a great team, but just as I said, I treat every team the same. And for me, it doesn't really change who we play. If it's FaZe that we lost to 6 times or Spirit that we're the only team who beat, for me, every game is a game and we just need to focus and play well.
It's funny when you think about it, your whole run could have looked completely different because your opening game of the RMRs, that bad News Eagles game. Well, sorry, Guild Eagles game. Sorry.
That was
ancient.
Right?
That was a wild game of Counter-Strike. That one was mental. Like, and that was a best of one, your opening game, and everything could have looked completely different from there. Like, do you ever look back at the runs and think, oh shit, like this? Because you had another close game to start off the elimination stage as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
2 close games even, no?
Yeah, we played against XANTARES, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That was a comeback as well, kind of.
Yeah.
On overpass, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just like to have fun sometimes, you know. But I mean, definitely, I think there is a lot of pressure. I mean, it's kind of weird to say I'm kind of experienced in this team now, in a way, because obviously Shuhi was in a grand final of a major, but I played in tier 1 longer than him, you could say, since he was in Gamer Legion. But yeah, I mean, obviously we have Jimpat, Wonder Kid. But yeah, I tried to kind of paint the picture. I was honest with them. I told like Jimmy, like, you might be the best kid I've ever seen in my life. Like, you're much better than I was at your age, but at the end of the day, RMR has different pressure. As Rob said in an interview once, I agree with him. And I think you basically have everything on the line. Everyone wants to play the major. And for us, it meant a lot because of the coach. And obviously now Zipex, the legend, is with us. So I'm also very happy to share the stage with him. But yeah, I think that it's just a different type of pressure, and these games are always close. I feel like there is no easy games in these tournaments.
I just want to make this clear for everybody because xertioN's only 19. So I know he's very mature and he speaks very well, but you're calling like your 17-year-old teammate like a kid, and it was only a couple years ago you were his age, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like that, you know, same age, still I call people kids. I don't know. It's just a habit.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure when did we speak? When I came to you guys in Warsaw, you guys were at that was like early 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So you were like barely 18 and you were talking to me about how you were not playing at the same level at 17 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could say I'm old in my head. You know, I don't know how to explain it. But for me, Jimmy is like my kid. He's just a kid. You know? Like, I just look at him as a wonder kid. I need to make sure that he can thrive, he can shine. I will jump for him. I will die for him, as long as he's happy. You know, like I just want to see him smile. This little Finnish guy. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I think Torji's been one who's been in good form. Brollan seems like he fits like a glove within your team, within its personality, but also we're seeing some of the best of Brollan that we've seen in years. I think a lot of people had kind of condemned him and gone, he was only good in the Krieg and the Org meta, but I think he was just...
weren't you one of these guys?
I was one of these guys. Yeah. No, but I think the thing is now you're seeing him in a team where he's actually happy. Right? Like the whole thing with the Fnatic roster, I don't want to be in a team that that's having to speak English. That was one of the narratives that came out, right? Which turns out not to be the case. It's probably I just don't want to play with a shit team that I'm not very happy with.
That also speaks English.
I guess that's not really a good PR answer, though, is it? Right? You can't really get that one out there. So it's good to see him back in great form. But I guess Brollan's been on decent stages before. You said Shui's been in the major grand final. You guys have started to have plenty of cracks. This isn't like your first outing, so
he was in the semi-final of a major.
Yeah, so it is building in the right direction. So Katowice earlier in the year, there's a lot of positive signs to see MOUZ do it on the stage. And your opening match against G2, you said everybody's a good team. And I think like the gear shifts, everybody can now win once we're in this stage. But G2, Vitality and FaZe have all looked pretty shaky.
Just like, who impressed you the most, maybe compared to where you had them before the major?
I mean, I think I could say Eternal Fire, but I will say that, I think even when we play them online, I always knew that these guys are a great team. Like they play very good CS, to be honest, and very surprising, very very dynamic, you could say. Like Major XANTARES switching roles in some rounds, and you don't know who is where. And I just think that they have a really good system there, and they have really good individuals. So maybe you could say they surprised me the most. To be honest, as you said, I'm not sure about the other teams like Vitality, FaZe, even like Spirit. For me, it's like they did good, but I have a lot of expectations for them now, obviously.
It's not like Katowice good.
What? Sorry?
That's not like Katowice
exactly,
good.
Like the ceiling is so high now that, for them, you just look at that event now. But I think nobody really surprised me too much. Maybe I was a bit underwhelmed by Navi, I have to say, because I really think they have a really good team. And also in practice, they played good against us. So maybe I expected a bit more dominance from them going into playoffs. But, as I said, it's the major. And now suddenly FaZe will wake up probably, and there's going to be a great battle between them and Spirit, which I'm excited to watch. So, yeah, I think that that's basically it.
Okay. All right. Well, we had a box that we put out the front, and people put questions in. And there's one of them for you. It's not necessarily the deepest question I've ever seen, but it's quite topical. It says, xertioN, do you change your NVIDIA settings mid-game on LAN? Seriously, I swear to God.
No.
No, okay. That's right. What about changing your mouse?
Never.
Before an important game?
I think over my long career, no, I'm kidding, but over the 10 years I've been playing games, or maybe like 15 at this point, I don't know, I don't remember, but I think I played with 2 mouses my whole life, basically. So
sticking to your gear.
Absolutely.
All right.
We don't have any mouse sponsors, so you can say which one it is if you want.
That's fine.
I do. Oh, you guys don't. I do.
Okay. There it is. It's on his arm.
Only Razor.
Yeah. Where's Jimmy? He's normally in this room giving out stuff. I can't see him here at the moment, but
he doesn't like me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we've just worked out why. All right. Well, for MOUZ going into this, right, young team, decent side of the bracket, all the confidence in the world it seems like you're exuding. I'm trying to think. We got any other questions for xertioN that we could throw his way? What was the toughest game so far that you've played? You didn't play a lot.
In the major?
Yeah.
Or, I mean...
But you haven't played many at all, right?
They played Eternal Fire also pretty close, right?
I think, it has to be Eternal Fire, definitely. I think it was a close game, and I mean, I felt like we played good, but I mean, we still only won in 13-11, and you could see that they beat FaZe. I think they...
Vitality as well.
Yeah, they beat Vitality and FaZe, so I mean, we could definitely see after that they came like hot, but yeah, I think that was the most difficult because it felt like we were playing good as a team individually as well, and it was just close, which usually... If you feel good, you just win. And this time it was like back and forth all the time. So that game.
Okay. What about this? You can help us analyze the other side of the bracket. It's FaZe versus Spirit. Who you've got winning that one?
I mean, personally, I have Spirit winning. I think that FaZe will always be better on stage. Of course, they have a lot of great players. Rain always. I mean, this guy is every year like he could maybe not play the best individually on stage, like have on studio, like have a stable performance. Stage comps, MVP. It's like, it's amazing how talented that guy is on stage, basically, how good he is. So I think FaZe are always like scary, but at the end of the day, I think that Spirit are right now in a much better form than them, and they have more confidence. So I have them taking that, like that fight, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Vitality versus Cloud9?
I have my boys in Vitality, my friends. I think Cloud9 have been playing actually pretty good, even though without Opera, which is the meme, but I mean, yeah, I think that even without an Opera, they've been doing good. Obviously, they have 5 world-class players in every role. So, yeah, but I think at the end of the day that Vitality are just better. Okay,
and then Vitality versus Spirit.
That's going to be a really good match, actually. I think, is it the first time?
They had never played each other, yeah. We were talking about that
because
earlier.
in Katowice, Vitality went out early, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I want to say Vitality, but I don't know. I have a lot of belief in Donk, you know. I think he's a bit underrated. Like not
underrated.
Sorry, what?
Not a lot of people know him apparently.
Yeah, okay.
No, I met him in the toilet today actually. It's great guy.
Hell, this is taking a turn.
Great guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Spirit in the final?
Yeah, we meet Spirit in the final and we win. Yeah.
Okay. Who? Now let's look at your side of the bracket. This is one where you can fuel another team if you'd like. Who would you rather play, Na'Vi or Eternal Fire? Not who do you think you're going to play. Who would you rather play?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really mind who would I rather play, but I mean, I think I would rather play Na'Vi, just because I think that they...
their ancient sucks, which is great for you guys, right? It's not very... Mate, they're missing the mid utility. Me and my little plug stack can... Well, at least they were before. I haven't checked it out.
Okay.
Me and J-Raz, we got the mid mollies down. We're not missing that shit, I'll tell you that much.
We watched my demo together, I remember.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. You versus Nerds.
We did.
Yeah.
I always win.
Yeah, you did win that one, yeah. It was not too bad. No. So you'd probably rather play Na'Vi?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Just I think it's more, we have some history against them, where with the Terrafire we do, but it's not the same level, I would say. So just for the matchup, I would say Na'Vi.
Okay. All right. We got any other questions for xertioN? Because I did waste a lot of time. Well, I say waste. I did use a lot of time. I use a lot of resources on Astralis, as we heard. You got anything you want to say to the fans, mate?
I mean, thank you all for coming here today. It's nice to see you all, and just make sure to cheer for us in the Royal Arena because we have Cyclone.
There it is, a Dane.
And Zipix, the legend, 4-time major winner.
There it is.
Amazing guy to have around.
Well, we haven't asked him about that. Yeah, we should ask about Zipix. How is he as an assistant coach?
I mean, he's... Obviously, also Shui touched on it, like Kamil touched on it in interviews. Like, we are taking it slowly, of course. We have already a system built, and we didn't want too much to change before the major. But I mean, I think he doesn't have that much tactical input yet, but it's more like mental, like how
Good player for that, for sure.
It's amazing. Like this guy, like clutch minister, always calm, always looks really calm when he plays the game, no matter what stage he's on. So it's just nice to have him around. Like he gives us input on how we behave sometimes. Like maybe we could play smartly more, or like be more patient, be more disciplined in a way, because I feel like as a young team, that's what we lack. I will take the blame for that, you know, plus W, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it just feels good, and like it's also nice to think about percentages. So I think that he's teaching us some stuff, maybe not necessarily in CS, but about CS. But yeah, I think that just his prestige and demeanor is nice to have.
Nice. All right. Well,
stuff.
thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it, and best of luck for you and MOUZ in the playoffs. Thank you. Thank you, Dorian. All righty. Damn. Wow, we're flying through them right now. That's great. He's always so well spoken. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Have a good one. Good luck. All right. Well, where are we at? It is 20 past 10. Almost 20 past 10. Is that and you wanted to finish at 10:30. So we'll probably finish it closer to 11.
Yeah, okay.
Can I push it?
10:45.
Because we do need to then pack everything up after.
We also have like transportation for packing everything up. Everything is already planned, you know.
Okay.
So
We still have to give away all of these goods.
that is true. We need to do this ASAP.
Yeah. And where is he?
Who better?
There's one man who loves a giveaway. One man that loves a giveaway than anybody. It's Jacob Pimp Vinicky, hometown hero. Get him up here. Hello, Jacob. How you doing, mate? All right. Well,
You have to do the line.
what's the line?
Hey guys.
Are we going to? What are we going to do today? You going to show us any biking tips, or?
Nah, I don't think so.
Did you bring any refrag codes?
I could bring some on my phone.
We're going to give away all this stuff.
Well,
and
let's
then
throw in 30 refrag codes.
Oh wow! Look at that.
That's a lot of.
There you go. It's a 15% discount at the moment. I think I saw Casey advertising.
Oh, really?
I may have just made that up. No, I swear I saw a tweet from Casey. I swear there was some form of discount while the major was on.
Sure.
Jacob, thank you for joining us here this evening. How long will we keep you waiting?
For half an hour. That's fine.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's
all right.
That's all right.
It was a good show, you know. Huh?
We're trying. Did you go home in the break?
Yes, I went home to bike.
You should have gone with Pasha, mate, and you could have rode in together.
I was considering it, but then I saw the weather. You know, it's rainy, it's windy, and it's not nice.
All right, well, understandable.
Is that like normal here?
It's been like that for 6 months, you know, so I'm kind of getting depressed like everyone else.
You're still keeping up the tan. I don't know how he does it.
Well,
bloody hell.
I got my secrets.
Yeah, well, look, we brought you here today to help us break down the finals bracket for the major, the playoffs, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we brought you here with a purpose, because so far we've spoken through, we had Harry and Hugo come, we spoke about all the stages so far.
Did you ask them as well for the final thoughts of the bracket?
Well, we didn't go that far. We said winners, right? But we want to do the whole pick'em situation with you. So we can, because we did stats of the opening stages and the elimination stages. We did some quizzes. We gave away some books, and then we've obviously had a bunch of different guests come through. And now what I want to do is do the pick'ems. But I'll ask a few questions like I asked them. What was your favorite match of the opening or the elimination stage? Was there one that stood out?
Oh, there's been so many. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
It is.
Classic.
I'll take
classic time wasting.
Yeah, you want to answer?
No, because their answer was their first one that came to mind was the G2 versus VP game.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Obvious, yeah.
For me, I like the Mongols game against Pain because of how crazy Inferno got at the end.
That was kind of cool too. I don't know. I liked some of the best of ones in the beginning. You know,
oh dear, that's controversial.
I feel like the static MOUZ, to open up the entire tournament. I felt that was a good game. MOUZ came really close to losing. I'm disappointed you didn't ask him about that, and I also didn't believe him when he said that. Did he say that the hardest game for MOUZ was against EF in the tournament? Yeah, definitely against the static. They were down 6-0 or something like that. CT side overpass.
Yeah, but they didn't make the playoffs. So.
Well, they maybe could have beaten.
You've only
MOUZ,
got 2 Danes in the playoffs.
That sucks.
No, that's all right. They're in-game leaders. They don't even have to frag.
Sucks.
They still win. They don't.
Should have been more.
Yeah, well, we had the whole Australis.
They got to be the least turnout of Danes ever at a major playoff for the first time win them.
Where's Harry? We get him on the numbers. We'll see if he can work that out for us.
Gotta be. Pimp, how do you feel about Australis not reuniting for the show match? Couldn't that be the minimum that they could have?
Well, I'm not gonna spill the secrets here, but I did suggest it somewhere in a WhatsApp group. That maybe we should make a fuss out of that. I'm not sure if the Astralis guys didn't want to do it. Or
well, we didn't ask the question, but maybe he's probably boot camping, mate.
Yeah, still though, we have the major.
We
have the major in Denmark for the first time. Of course you show up for
Why
the show.
Why don't you get out there? We're like get.
I haven't been asked.
Get Nico. Get like Fetish. We could bring back an old school like
which one of the Nikos?
The one with the C.
Okay.
Yeah, we could build
the good one.
Yeah, we could build a roster for you. Get them out. AZ.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be fun. MSL. We could bring
MSL. Why isn't MSL there?
We could have made a North roster.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of a spit in the face of Astralis.
Okay. Maybe not. All right. Now look, let's give something away, and let's do the bracket. Jacob, you're going to be the man. What do you want to give away? Because we have to give away all of this before we go home. What do you want to give away?
This is a big choice because no matter which way you go, you're going to be judged.
Sure, I'm not. Let's start with a mouse. Is that a mouse pad?
I think so. We haven't looked at it. It's Astralis mouse pad.
Just check it out.
But you have to pick who you're giving it away to.
Ooh, someone wants a mouse pad?
Yeah, everybody wants it. Everybody loves free stuff.
How about we do that?
Is it signed?
It's signed. It is signed.
Oh, this is cool.
Damn, we got some
mouse pad from all the players. What does it do at the weddings when you turn around and then you randomly throw it behind you?
Yeah,
with the flowers?
Yeah, that's with the bouquet.
Should we do that?
But don't call it. I don't want people fighting, all right? Because you sometimes get a bit fighty in that situation.
Gotta be in it to win it,
Bloody hell. The chaos is going to
You guys ready?
right now.
I think you have to get closer.
Don't hit Now, he'll be fine. Don't hit the camera, though. Lucas will have an absolute nightmare.
Okay, I'm going to hit the camera.
Look at this. I like this. I respect it. Oi! All righty. Giving away a mouse pad. All right. Let's get into the conversation, the bracket. Or should we give away more stuff, Prof? I saw you look at the stack.
We have a lot of stuff. We can throw something else. So you can throw something else.
Scarves. There's some
shirts.
I'm picking the dude in the HLTV shirt.
Here at the front
brand. What do you want?
What do you want?
You have 3 seconds.
Scarf. All right.
Which one? But
Astralis or Heroic? There we go. Yeah, he's sitting next to two lads in Astralis jerseys. Doesn't surprise me. Jay will pass
Man
that
could
one.
have picked a shirt,
He could have, but he went with scarf.
Okay.
Maybe he's got a cold neck. He's already wearing one of the best shirts you can find.
Fair enough.
Okay. So we got the playoffs. We've got the top 8 teams. I guess we can just start at the top of the bracket and work our way through.
Okay.
Does that sound good with everybody?
Yeah.
All right. Let's use a bit of crowd interaction because that's always fun. Who thinks Vitality is going to win against Cloud9? Okay.
Sounds pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who thinks Cloud9 is going to beat Vitality?
That's surprising.
Really?
I feel like it's the same people yelling for both.
Yeah, well, maybe they are. But that sounds to me more like Cloud9.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I felt very similar.
You want to go again? We can do the OJ ball. Who thinks Vitality are going to win? Who thinks Cloud9 are going to win? And then he just does the thing with the mic, and then he goes, "Are you ready?" And then
I don't know, man. Like, it feels very 50-50 to me.
Well, that's because most of the games up here fucking are.
Yeah.
That's the problem we have. What are we meant to do with this?
I'm surprised it's so 50-50, to be fair, though.
All I can say is Zywa was sick in the group stage.
Yeah.
I can say that Cloud9 beat them the last time they faced. I can say if I look at the two rosters, if Vitality play into maps where the AWP is going to have an advantage, then they'll be able to abuse that against Cloud9 because they don't have a primary AWP, but they have individuals who are serviceable on certain maps. And then my analysis is done, and I probably pick Vitality.
I think Exile is gaslighting us right now. He's having his first good tournament in a year and a half, and he was playing well in the group stage.
Okay.
Don't get it the wrong way. He was playing really well, 1.32 rating or something like that. With him playing well, obviously Cloud9 have a lot of strings to play off. It's a good team. Boomage is a great caller. Electronic is definitely the X factor. He's been struggling a little bit, yada. But do we really expect Exile to continue that kind of performance heading into the arena? Because I don't, and I think the second he drops off to what he's normally been the past year and a half, then that game is not even a game. You're going against Saivu, you're going against the Vitality, who I think last time they played inside the Royal Arena, they won the tournament, last fall finals. They won the entire thing.
A good omen.
Recent experience in there, know how it is to be in that stage, know how to play with the crowd. I've had a couple of Danes as well, so there's a lot of love for Vitality. I don't think it's that close, to be fair.
Okay, what are you gentlemen thinking? Because I'm with Jacob. So essentially, you guys can either tie it the other way.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Vitality as well.
Same.
It's also like the name value, the brand of Zywu is just so big. It's so big. Like, you can't write him off.
And
even
though he's not sick anymore.
That's what I was going to say. Like, okay, if Vitality got to this point,
did that come out from somewhere?
Vitality kind of
he might be still partially
pretty much insinuated that he's fine now.
Yeah.
Pretty much insinuated. That's my favorite type of insinuation. All right. Well,
but I think if Vitality got to this point, even though they looked shaky as hell in that 2-1 game, right? That they won, like, if ZywOo turns up on top of that, I think that's obvious that they're going to
I mean, Axel is literally a guy a week ago we would all cut from Cloud9 for an upper. Everyone.
Yeah, for me it changed because there was a while I was like, it's got to be Hobbit, right? But it's not. It doesn't have to be Hobbit anymore. Now it just could be Axel. It would have to be Axel. So he's kind of maybe he's been told that. Maybe he's playing for his spot.
He's pulling off a Sipnix. You remember when that happened?
And dupreeh apparently.
You're getting kicked unless you start to perform, and then all of a sudden he was the best anchor in the world.
Pretty good way to do it. Do you like your job? You then play better.
There we go.
Okay, so we got Vitality. Let's go to the opposite side of the bracket. MOUZ versus G2. We just had xertioN up here. G2 were not very convincing at all. I think some people might think that they shouldn't even be in the playoffs, but obviously they played well on Anubis, right? But I think that you had to analyze that game after.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, because you can't just go there. The thing
it sounded like a fucking funeral.
It was
on
tough.
That desk.
It was.
That was a tough balance, because you have to acknowledge what happened, right? You can't just praise G2 for playing a good Anubis, because we also had to take in the fact that what happened to VP, what happened to Jame was rough. So yeah, it was kind of like a funeral. It felt like everyone was losing that game, apart from G2, who obviously were happy making it. But it wasn't a great second.
I think the thing is with the celebrations after, it's hard for me to go, oh man, I wish they had showed more humility because they just qualified for the top 8. But it's also like, man, I wish that like Hooksy didn't yell like that after. I just wish he just kind of. But that's the thing. If it was me, I would have been pumped as well to have got the victory. But it's just in the circumstances of us watching it. Kind of everybody at that moment is like, man, this really sucks for VP. Like with what's unfolded here and with such a winnable position within that round. And we never know what was going to happen after, but we could all speculate, likely at least overtime at that point. So there's all of that comes into it. And then with all the tweets and stuff coming out after, it's like, I just fucking leave it because you're going to be, we all know how this works. In our space, 24 to 48 hours of when something happens.
I deleted the tweet, I actually went out there and I engaged into the fight and I admit I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't worth it. There was a lot of people mad out there, and as you said, the rationale from people was obviously that VP got robbed off a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, but that's not G2's fault, right? So that's
that's the thing, right? That was the whole dilemma that we had to present on the desk as well. We have to celebrate G2 for qualifying, but we also have to admit that VP probably should have qualified. So it was a tough one. It was a funeral.
Now, with all that said, do we think that G2 can beat MOUZ once we make it to the stage? Because we've had plenty of days to reset. They don't play until Friday, right? There's an opportunity now for, the thing that worries me the most about G2 is Nico tweeting that he still doesn't like the game.
Yeah, I was thinking
that worries me because it's a mental thing.
Yeah. You should ask the crowd actually, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to lean towards one of these two teams.
Okay.
I'm also pretty sure,
Who thinks MOUZ are going to win? Is that what you expected?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wait, I thought there'd be a bunch of Danish Hooksy fans here.
There's one.
So who thinks G2 is going to win? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that either, yeah.
Really? Why did you expect that,
Recency bias. MOUZ have played fantastic
But
Counter-Strike.
G2 is like a loved org. They've got Monacy.
Yeah, but these guys are not dumb, They've seen Counter-Strike.
That is true. They do listen to our podcast, so they must be the smartest CS fans out there.
Okay.
Pandering to the crowd already.
It's a pretty good track record MOUZ are coming in with, right? One loss in a LAN game in 24, and they've taken down Spirit in a best of 3 as well. There's nothing that really suggests that G2 would be able to win, apart from the fact
there's
that
one factor,
I mean,
and that's Monacy.
Is the stage
Monacy.
Okay.
Monacy. Honestly, only factor. I think even when you put in the stage, I think we saw. I don't know. Hunter is just not playing well. He's just not playing
in this
since
tournament.
CS2.
But he has this tournament. That's the point.
Yeah, I don't know.
He has actually been playing well this tournament.
And then Nico's not really playing well.
And he
so
hates
it's like,
the game. So.
And then the rest of the team is Nexa and Hooksy. It's like, how do they win?
But don't you? This is where the stage conversation comes back into it, though, right? Like, don't you expect to get a more motivated and firing on more cylinder Nico and Hunter on a stage?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a factor to consider. But at the same time,
how do we
it's
measure
not like it's like we were talking to xertioN just now. Like, it's not like MOUZ have no experience in the stage, and they have been like I've gone through it. Like every single one of their players has gone deep at a major before. Like Torji and
besides
xertioN,
Jimmy.
Torji, obviously, because this is his first major. So besides him,
nice.
But Torji and xertioN were in the semifinals of Rio. Shuhi was in the final of Paris.
Yep.
Brollan was in the quarterfinal of Stockholm, I want to say. I can't remember now.
We're going back in time, aren't we?
Or maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe it was Face It or something, like one of the first ones, but I don't remember now. But he was in one of the quarterfinals. So it's not like any of them, even on the biggest of big stages, they have some experience.
I may as well just say, in my pick'ems, I have G2 winning that game actually.
Really?
Against MOUZ, yeah, really. And I put it out on YouTube.
You're just building a case against them.
No, I'm just asking questions.
Okay, all right.
I didn't say anything.
Devil's advocate here.
For my money, if there's one thing G2 have taught me, it's not to underestimate them when they actually look like shit, because that's what they've done every single time they've run into a good period. I remember before, was it the Blast World Finals in 22 with the whole Huxi situation, everyone called for him to be kicked from the team. They go in, they win that, they go on this crazy win streak where they win 18 maps or 18 games in a row. And 2 months prior to that, everyone was saying, you need roster changes. Fair enough. Then they go down on a bit of a downfall again. They don't play too well. All of a sudden, they show up for Cologne. They win Cologne. Nobody expected them to win.
So you think
Cologne
the pressure's off and they'll play better?
I think them being in that VP game, realizing that we should have lost, we shouldn't even been here, the pressure is completely gone. They got absolute fuck all to lose in that game against MOUZ. And every single time G2 is playing with no pressure, that's when your MONIZ is coming into play, that's when your Hunter is coming into play, and that's when NiKo should be fired up. That's my only caveat though. NiKo seemingly is just not a great Counter-Strike 2 player compared to what he was in CSGO, and that's not going to change from one day to another, not even with the pressure, but I do trust in MONIZ, and I do trust in Hunter, and I do trust in the fact that MOUZ are, maybe xertioN doesn't want to say it just yet, and maybe they can prove us wrong in this playoff, but they're kind of the basement heroes for now. They like to play in these studio setups in the basement, but we haven't seen them perform at that level at a stage yet, and I don't think it's going to be against G2.
Okay. I think you can't really make it the case for NiKo that he's not going to feel the pressure, because the entire narrative around NiKo is
didn't
like
say he's
he
not going to feel the pressure, but it's not going to change his level of play. He's not a great Counter-Strike 2 player as he was in CSGO. Yeah. So whether he's pressured or not, he's still going to be capped to that limit.
Yeah, I mean, just the point is like everybody's holding him up to the major standards. That's the thing, he hasn't won yet, right? So especially now that he's had the year where he won Katowice and Cologne finally. So I think like once he gets there and he doesn't perform, that's where the pressure gets to him again. Okay, I'm here again. How am I here again? How am I not performing at a major again? That's what people hold him up to as well. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think he will be the deciding factor.
Well, let's decide. Milan, who you got winning? MOUZ or G2?
I have MOUZ in my pick'ems and I have Hunter in my fantasy. I win either way.
No, okay. So you're going with MOUZ.
I will go with MOUZ.
Okay, so you've got G2.
Yeah.
See, this is the issue I have. I don't think I can only grade on form, because if I try and grade off of experience on stage, I think what you've added in here of the element of the pressure being gone, I think I can see that angle. I can also see that there's still pressure because it is a major and the NiKo not having it in his cabinet.
I just feel we've seen it so many times. What was it, the old Envious lineup in
NIP
15,
once
16?
Upon a time too.
They were like the team coming into the Cluj-Napoca major. Yeah. They already agreed to disband, then they win the major because the pressure's off. There's nothing to lose. I feel like for G2, they knew that had they bowed out of the group stage, had they lost to VP, we wouldn't be looking at the same G2 after summer. There'll be roster changes coming in. Now they're freed up. Maybe they already had the conversations in terms of who are we going to replace? What is the future going to look like? NiKo's contract apparently running out soon as well. Yada, 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 right? So I feel like there's no pressure on G2, and I think that's a dangerous beast to deal with.
Yeah, that's something that I hadn't actually considered. So I'm still going to have to go with MOUZ. But what we'll do is we'll put a caveat there, and we'll say Jacob said.
These are close games. None of these games are like the obvious winner or anything like that. So. All
right, we've locked out 2 of the quarterfinals. Let's go with Spirit versus FaZe. I think this one we've already discussed a little bit so far, right? We've touched on the fact this is a head-to-head. There was over the Katowice Grand Final. Spirit. I
just don't get an angle how you can predict FaZe in this one. It just doesn't make sense. No angle.
Who did that?
I don't know.
No one.
I'm just trying to, in my head, be the devil's advocate, and I can't.
I think one of the conversations, MAJ3R mentioned it before when he was up here on the couch, was to do with FaZe potentially picking into something like Vertigo, which we were talking about slightly. Yeah. But we've seen them do it before, but it's felt like they've done it before in matchups where the team they're going up against is not very good at Vertigo either.
Or like a best of 5 or something.
Exactly. That we saw against ENCE in that best of 5. Yeah. Was that like Pro League last year?
And it's also like, we were actually talking about this with Harry earlier, like when we were looking through the veto, it's also like, what do you ban? Like what strength of Spirit that you don't want to play would you want to take away first so that you can float Vertigo? It's not like they could play Mirage, but FaZe will be happy with that. FaZe will be perfectly happy with playing Mirage if Spirit picks into it. Ancient is kind of like, it's probably going to be a decider either way, so they're going to play it, and I don't think FaZe will be particularly unhappy about that either.
Both like,
and they're not. The Spirit is not going to pick Overpass or Anubis, which is also not a great. Which would be the 2 maps that you'd probably want to go away from for FaZe anyway. So it's like, I don't see the upside of, I understand if Kerrigan thinks like that's the weakness of Spirit and that's the map we can win.
Didn't they
but
pick
there's
Nuke
not
last
more.
Time?
Huh?
They picked Nuke last time.
Twice, yeah. Lost Nuke twice too.
So I think it went FaZe picked Nuke. Then Spirit picked fucking Mirage, and then the third map was Overpass where they got dumpstered.
Yeah.
Nuke is the only map Spirit have lost at this tournament to Navi, right? In that best of 3. They lost a Nuke game.
And they lost a Nubis in the Arma at Katowice.
Sure.
Also to Navi.
I would imagine it's going to be kind of like, unless the Vertigo pick comes in, I think that has to go the same way.
FaZe have to go with Nuke.
And like FaZe will just ban Overpass instead. Like.
It's also hard if you pick Anubis because then you probably start CT side, and on the stage where it can even be more like momentum based, and if they're on the T side to kick things off, that could be pretty rough. So yeah, I think Spirit will win in this one.
Me too.
Spirit. Spirit, lock it in. All right, I didn't ask. Who thinks Spirit's winning?
Who wants
anyone think Carrigan and FaZe boys are going to do it? Yeah, we know who one of the favourites in the arena is going to be, don't we?
Yeah. It would be nice if Carrigan would make that.
Oh, it'd be great, right? He looked devastated after the Kato loss. I'd never see it. Well, not never, but
I think it's because of how they lost. That's the problem.
Getting owned. All right, Eternal Fire versus Na'Vi. This one, as we discussed with Major before, is tough map pool wise for Eternal Fire. But I don't think Na'Vi have shown very good form, to be fair. And I think when it's like Wonderful's good and JL is showing good form, but you're not getting great stuff out of Bit and Emma, right?
But that's actually kind of the point that I would make for them to only have space to grow. Why I think Eternal Fire only have space to get worse. Because here's I was thinking about this today, and I originally actually thought Eternal Fire were going into this match as the favorites, just because of what I thought about Eternal Fire ahead of the tournament and what I saw like during the first stage. But there's a few factors that kind of made me go the other way, which is first, Voxic only gets better the better teams he plays. Only gets worse the better teams he plays. So the deeper into the tournament, Voxic is probably only going to get worse. Then you have the Vicaria question mark, which is like, is he going to be able to turn up at an arena? We've never seen that before. Major's overperformed until this point. I don't expect him to keep doing that. Like he's already had a life game going like to get to the playoffs. I don't expect him to stay there. There's no way. Like I don't see him having another game like that. So that the only way from there is down.
Okay.
While for Na'Vi, exactly as you were saying, Bits hasn't had a pop-off game for a long time, and I think like the only way for him is go up. Ima's, I have my concerns about Ima, but I think for him the same. Like he's had a pretty shit first 3 games, but then he played at least against Pain the last game. He kind of rejuvenated. Obviously, completely different opponent. It's much worse than Eternal Fire, but at least there's a way where he can improve compared to the rest of the tournament. So I feel like that combined with the veto advantage that Na'Vi will have, I think Na'Vi are favorites.
They also did beat them quite handily in Katowice, right? But that was a complete off game for Eternal Fire in my
Sometimes
eyes.
they overthink it. Like sometimes with the Eternal Fire games, when it felt like they were in tougher situations, they were too fakey or they were trying to, too slow and stuff like that. I want Eternal Fire to win. Right, I don't normally want a team to win, but I want Eternal Fire to win. I think that they offer a better across the board style of Counter-Strike at the moment, but in uncharted territory of an arena for them, I don't know what to expect. So I like your angle.
They definitely have to prove themselves. I think I don't know. In my opinion, what I've seen from EMS so far in this tournament has been very poor for a star player, for a player playing these roles, and like the amount of freedom or responsibility he has, he doesn't really live up to it. Oftentimes, just either does nothing or just gets exploited. And I think the way, if Na'Vi want to go forward, he just needs to play better. I feel like a team like Eternal Fire, Major is just going to abuse this quite a bit. And just how they have played, how consistently they have played, I think they have the upper hand there. And that's why I'm leaning
That's
towards
what I feel about EF as well, because I buy into your argument that, it seemingly could only get worse for EF, down the line. We don't know about Wycadia on a big stage as well, but during the group stage, Wycadia haven't really played that well. I think Katowice at the beginning, he was fantastic. Then he dropped off a little bit. During the Armas, he was also...
He's super inconsistent still. He's still looking for something to stabilize, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that his potential is like he's supposed to be what Emma were supposed to be, sort of, within that team. And he's not there yet. I think Voxic as well in this tournament, it's not like he's popped off. He's had a couple of
He started good and then he kind of simmered out a bit.
That's my point. I don't think we've seen the best of EF in this tournament yet. I think there's another ceiling to them, another level to them. And if they hit that against Na'Vi, then I agree. I feel Na'Vi have played decent Counter-Strike, but one was powered by JL having the game of his life on Nuke, dropping 40 kills. That was fantastic against Spirit.
But they didn't actually win that game. They ended up losing the series anyway.
Winning a map against Spirit is like winning a game these days. But
that's true.
but still, I don't know. I have EF as a slight favorite because I think EF have gotten to the playoff, playing decent Counter-Strike without actually playing the best.
Yeah. Okay, all right. What do we think? Eternal Fire? or Na'Vi? All right, I think, do we give it to the crowd? We go with the F on this one?
You can go with the F.
Seems like I'm outvoted on the couch anyway.
Well, I didn't dislike your angles. You brought some new stuff for me to think about.
I'm fine with that.
But just so everyone knows, this isn't legally binding, all right? You can still do your own pick'ems.
I have Na'Vi in my pick'ems.
Yeah, all right.
I switched. I had the Eternal Fire and then I switched to Na'Vi.
We're getting on. Let's fly through these last couple and then let's get the hell out of here because I've already run over.
Yeah.
And I got to stack up some bloody chairs after this. All right. All right. Vitality versus Spirit. I would love to see Spirit contest for this. This is probably like a grand final, like could be, right?
The winner of the major is within those 4 teams in the top bracket. You know, either Spirit, FaZe, Vitality. I think those 3 are contending to win the major. As much as I respect G2, MOUZ, Eternal Fire, and Na'Vi, they're not going to win the major. So I agree with you. Vitality Spirit should be the grand final. I think the winner of that game will go into the grand final as the heavy favorite.
As the favorite, yeah, for sure. Well, this is how I did my pick'ems.
Yeah.
That's how I did my pick'ems. And I only did it based off of form, right? I tried to bring all the intangibles in there with crowd, everything like that, but that's what I ran with. And that's just the 2 teams who have shown the best form in the tournament so far, and hopefully we get to see them clash, and then we get the fact that it's MOUZ versus Spirit, and MOUZ the only team that beat them. It's a fun storyline. It's kind of what I ran with. Because we could sit here and argue about the Spirit versus Vitality game, and ZywOo, and is he going to be the recipe to stop Donk, right? The AWP versus the Rifle, what people have discussed, Eternal Fire versus MOUZ. We even heard from xertioN saying that was their toughest game so far, so we could do all of that. But all in all, the key here is what you mentioned when we started, the fact that this is the most stacked playoff bracket that we've probably ever had. So that's a great sign. So that's very good news. So let's give away some more shit and let's get out of here, shall we?
Yeah.
All right.
I was just going to say, like, regardless how the tournament goes, like, unless it's like Cloud9 Na'Vi or something, like we're getting a sick bracket regardless of what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Jacob, you want to help us a little bit more, give away some stuff?
Yes, I do.
Who's the biggest Pimp fan here?
Are you surprised about that, huh? I actually do have fans. Should we just throw out some stuff?
Go nuts, mate. We got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of it.
Got some heroic scarf. Anyone wants heroic? There's an Astralis guy with an heroic scarf over there.
All right, Lucas has taken my stuff off camera. That's good.
Some more heroic T-shirt. Anyone?
Whoa,
that was a big one.
This is a really nice spin over here.
I do a lot of giveaways. Yeah. Another heroic T-shirt. Oh, there's a guy all the way at the back there.
Whoa! Oh, Jesus! You can tell he's been working out.
It's like a flag. I think that's a flag. I think that's a flag.
Can I open it?
It won't be really needed in the arena.
Heroic flag for anyone in the arena. Want to make a fool out of yourself? Yeah.
Astralis ain't in there either.
There we go. Well, they suck too.
Yeah. It's a cap.
Astralis cap. Anyone with a cap face?
I just love this. We're just throwing. It's like we're at a concert. Just throwing out.
The guy has a cap.
You can have 2.
Oh,
stole it. Love it. Another heroic T-shirt. Size medium. Anyone?
I'm glad we brought Jaco. I don't want to be doing this.
This is his experience.
And listen, we got to do something special. This is the main prize.
What do you want to do that's special?
That's a good question. You got any ideas?
Normally I don't think of these things on the spot. I can quickly have a look and see what questions we had, and people can own up to seeing
a signed jersey from a team not at the major. Yeah.
It's one way to sell it.
I'm reading all the questions here. Hold up. Hold up.
There's a guy with a great sign.
Someone brought their kids. I feel like that's...
Well, that's a win.
Yeah.
Bringing their children to listen to us curse.
Yeah. I know them.
Oh,
you know them.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're cool?
They're cool.
Just give it to
Can
them.
I be biased?
Yeah, of course you can
be biased. You can do whatever you want.
All right. Jacob's out of here. All right.
That's it.
Should we shut it down?
And you can take the tote back.
There's signed.
for you.
That's signed as well, by the way.
What am I going to do with this?
I don't know.
Go shopping at like an organic store or something?
Yeah.
There's a very
kind of
visible Bro and Jabbi signature on this.
Okay, all right. Well,
doesn't it fit, Chad, the tote
my
bag?
aesthetic?
I think you should have it.
Yeah, that's what Prof's saying. All right. Well,
fits your style.
Look, we're going to shut this thing down. But I want to say, as usual, a big shout out to Prof for organizing everything to make this happen. Without this gentleman right here, the logistics man. So, Lucas, I don't know if you can bring up my screen right now. I don't know if that's possible. If it is, that would be nice. But PGL tweeted out a picture of what the stage is going to look like. So hopefully, can I go bigger?
It looks freaking banging.
We can go bigger. There it is.
Have you seen it in person?
Yeah.
We went there today for rehearsal.
And?
So it looks nice. It's really nice. So just in case people are interested, up on where the lights are on either side, where these like sea containers are, there's like casters on one side and the desk is on the other. These aren't actually booths. but you guys can work that all tomorrow. There's a nice long runway and all that good stuff. So that's what you can expect tomorrow. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out. Thank you for everybody for coming to the biggest HLTV Confirmed live we've ever had.
The bar closes at 11, so you have 15 minutes to grab drinks.
All right, so get out of here, grab a drink. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to make history over the weekend. It is the first CS2 major, the first major in Copenhagen, and a fucking cracker of a bracket. So let's have a great weekend. Let's enjoy the Counter-Strike. It's what brings us all together. Thank you all for coming, and good night.
Best esports odds, VIP program and a variety of bonuses, fast and easy withdrawals, bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.